I'm going to blast off real quick and we're going to get right into the news, but here.
It is like a scene from the apocalypse, flames pouring into the night sky over Tehran after Israel struck 4 separate oil facilities around the city. Benjamin Netanyahu had promised many surprises to come, and these strikes were certainly one of them. Imagine being here when a spill from one of the depots explodes along the drains lining a street. The fires burning long into the night. And in the morning, vast plumes of black smoke billowing into the sky and across the city. The Iranian Red Crescent warning of toxic compounds in the air, which, mixed with the morning's rain, they said, were extremely dangerous.
See, you got it. Like, you got your wishes across. Like, this is what you wanted, and you're getting it. You got Gaza. You did a genocide. You have an apartheid that America unconditionally supports. You're blowing up the entire world's. You're destroying thousands of years of culture, right? You're blowing up oil refineries in this fucking region with the hopes of like lighting everything on fire. You know, the casualties will be in the millions if you get your entire wishes across, and you still fucking complain. You still complain all the fucking time. It's like, it's unbelievable. It's unfucking believable, dude. I can't stand these motherfuckers. Okay? I just don't get it. I don't understand the sheer hubris, the entitlement. Like, I mean, I guess I get it. Like, it's just pure fascism, right? Like, at this point, we have to understand it as pure fascism. Like, Josh Gottheimer is a straightforward fascist, right? Like, this isn't even awesome Zoran shit. Like, Zoran's wife is under attack. Zoran's under attack. There's like a lot of fucking idiotic things that people are saying about him and his wife, and I think Twitter's really boosting this stuff, and it's giving me like outrage fatigue. But I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you think you can get away with this. Like, this is not even about Zoran. This is about Gavin Newsom saying Twitter is an apartheid, right? Twitter is an apartheid. Twitter is an apartheid too, but that's separate. Israel's an apartheid. Gavin Newsom recognizes it, and he's not even like fully into it anyway. Like, he's not even fully invested in this cause at all. Like, he's not sincere. He's not sincere at all. He's just saying it because he thinks correctly that this is what people want to hear. Hold on. Let me fix this fucking camera real quick. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, he wants to be president. And if he wants to be president, he has to start taking an anti-Israel position. And like, on the one hand, I obviously am still aware that Gavin Newsom is insincere and simply wants to be president, and that's why he's saying it. On the other hand, I recognize that the winds have turned so much that even someone like Gavin Newsom will insincerely push on the apartheid line, which is just reality, right? Where Israel committed a genocide in Gaza and Israel maintains an apartheid. These two things are reality. And recognizing reality is not even bare minimum. And Gavin Newsom is doing the bare minimum, and they're still fucking freaking out. And that's what I'm really frustrated about. Like, Representative Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey, one of the worst Democrats in Congress, like, just one of these assholes that's like totally Israel first, right? Like, this is all he gives a shit about. He freaks out. He says, these comments are not only wrong, but they're dangerous and will feed more anti-Semitism in our country. Is it really worth throwing Jews under the bus to advance your political ambitions? Fred Gutenberg, one of the Parkland School shooting victim parents, comes out and says, I agree with this. I've always been supportive of Gavin Newsom, but this crossed the line for me. I will remember this when considering my options for 2028. I said, unless the Democratic candidate lies to America about Israel's apartheid, you won't vote for them. Maybe you should change your priorities. My priorities are not the issue. Your bullshit about Israel is. No need to continue this. And it's like, what do you mean my bullshit? Like, your bullshit. Your fucking bullshit. I'm a lifelong Democrat. And if the Democratic Party doesn't deny abject reality about Israel, it'll hurt my feelings and I'll stop. I won't vote for them. And it's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, there's no one. You won the entirety of Congress. Everyone in Congress is, for the most part, a fucking slave to Israel. Okay? They will literally do anything in their power to make sure Israel's Greater Israel Project comes to fruition. Like, clearly, they'll bomb every country. They'll bomb every country for Israel. They'll use all of their munitions, all of their batteries, all of their defense systems in the direction of Israel to defend Israel. Israel will light billions of dollars on fire. No money for healthcare, only money for Israel. And they still fucking chirp. They still chirp. There's no democracy, okay? There's no democracy in this. There's no democratic process in this. It's over. The overwhelming majority of Americans don't want this to happen. They don't want this to continue. Okay? And yet, these guys are still chirping. And the problem is, even though like 90% of the base of support in the Democratic Party is like, we got to cut Israel out. We got to cut Israel out. The 1% to 2% that's like Israel firsters, okay, they keep having so much institutional motion that they can continue whipping the votes from the outside in a way that like we can't even do no matter how hard we organize. Oh, it's so frustrating to see. It's like I don't understand it. Like 90% of the Democratic base is saying this is fucked up. Like, what the fuck are we doing? There's Democrats that are saying this is fucked up. What are we doing? There are independents. Majority of independents, almost a super majority of independents are saying this is fucked up. What are we doing? And there are still people who are like, no, if you cut Israel out of the equation, that means you want a Holocaust to happen. Meanwhile, a Holocaust has happened, another one. This time Israel has conducted it with American weapons, with American political cover. And it's crazy that like wanting to put an end to that death and destruction and talking about how that death and destruction is also causing America's collapse, like really accelerating America's demise, is a non-starter for these people. It's like, I don't understand it. I don't know what you want. Like, you want to just you want to nuke me? You want to nuke America? Is that what you want? If this will be good for Israel, should we just nuke America? And if we go, hey, hold on, let's not nuke America, then that's anti-Semitic. Like, where will this go? Where will this fucking go? You've lost. You've lost. You don't have a constituency. You don't have fucking shit. But you have the entirety of Congress. The entirety of Congress is on your side, regardless of what the public's wishes are, and you're still constantly chirping. It reminds me of the Republicans, like after they won. You know? Remember when the Republicans won and they were like, oh, now it's our time to shine. Like, we control the House, we control the Senate, we control the White House, but you have to like us. And everyone was like, well, I don't like you. And then they would be like, you have to like us or we'll kill you. You have to like us or you'll go to jail. It's illegal to not like us. Like, that's literally what this is. They have everything. Okay? The Israel lobby is fundamentally in control of both of the parties, So it doesn't even matter if the Democrats are around. It doesn't even matter if the Republicans are winning. We are still doing Israel's bidding. And they still are like, well, how dare you not like me? It's anti-Semitism. How dare? How dare you not like my beautiful nation state of Israel? That's anti-Semitic. You should lose your job. You should lose your friends. You should be humiliated. And it's like, it's not working. In the public, it's not working because when people see that shit, they go, what the fuck are you talking about? When people see this and they go, shut the fuck up. God, you're so fucking entitled. You're so fucking arrogant. Shut the fuck up. That's the normal. That's like the normal takeaway for average Americans, right? Because they're tired. They're frustrated by this. But it's crazy that they still fucking chirp nonstop. And on the Democrat side, they still have like institutional motion. They can like bully these stupid fucking Democrats that cave and capitulate every step of the fucking way. There's still a very sophisticated outrage manufacturing machine that they deploy, as they have done so with Zohran Mamdani in this last iteration, as they've done so, and that was a retaliation for Dan Goldman. And they're doing it with fucking Gavin Newsom too. Like, look at this. Gavin Newsom comes out and says Israel's an apartheid state. Jay Weekly reports, Gavin Newsom's top senior staff met privately over Zoom with Jewish community leaders Wednesday. They call for a clear statement from the governor that Israel's not an apartheid state and to affirm support for U.S.-Israel ties. Like, what are we talking about? The CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council Bay Area, the executive producer of the Jewish California, but this is JPAC, by the way. Now they're called Jewish California, but they used to be called JPAC, which is like the APAC subsidiary for California. A nonpartisan lobbying group, sure. The CEO of the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles were among the handful of Jewish leaders in the Zoom room. The meeting lasted about half an hour. Describing the conversation as constructive, David Becarsley of Jewish California said he and others asked for a definitive public statement from the governor that he continues to support Israel and the U.S.-Israel relationship, including funding Israel's defense. Brother, what Jewish group are you running? Like, what are we doing? Like, this is insane. This is insane. This is completely insane. Oh, we demand you retract your correct statement that Israel's an apartheid state. It's crazy how fucking terrified our politicians are of Zionist lobbying money being deployed against them. That's what it is. They're terrified of it because none of these groups, including AIPAC, actually fucking hit people on their Israel position, right? They hit people on all these other things. They get slimy with it. They get nasty with it. I just don't understand. It fucking pisses me off so much. Ty Gregory, CEO of CRC Bay Area, called Newsom's comments confusing and said our community doesn't know what to think. A podcast is not a forum to state your policy views are. Like, who the fuck are you, man? Who the fuck are you? Like, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you do this? Like, you're making demands of the governor of California that they, one, totally deny reality, right? And two, pledge loyalty to a foreign state that is deeply unpopular. This has no motion. It has no motion in the real world, but it has maximum motion in the world of politics. So the reason why I'm very frustrated by this is because amongst politicians, and they're in an echo chamber, right? They're in this like hermetically sealed echo chamber. They rarely ever see the public. They rarely ever talk to the public. This is all they hear, and they get fucking terrified. They're terrified that there's going to be an unlimited money faucet of attack ads that they will be receiving, and they don't want to say anything. So if you're wondering how this shit works, right? If you're wondering how, Israel is such a uniparty position, well, here it is. This is how it happens. It happens in the off season. It happens when you're not paying attention. It's not because of some like Jewish mind control or whatever. It's because all of these fucking groups that cynically call themselves like Jewish advocacy groups even though they are singularly focused on Israel and Israel's ambitions, the continuation of Israel's genocidal project in the region. All these groups will go in and will have direct conversations with the electeds and will fucking yell at them for hours, will bully them into submission. Also, this kind of shit, unironically, does lean into the anti-Semitic conspiracies. It's unfucking bearable, dude. It's unbearable. It's so toxic. It's so fucking heinous. And yeah, I guess they got their wishes across. Democratic majority for Israel comes out with this statement, which again is a disgusting Apex subsidiary. It's a Zionist lobby that is consistently undermining the Democratic Party's primaries and actively. I mean, this was created against Bernie Sanders initially, right? Democratic majority for Israel. He comes out, they come out and they say, we appreciate Governor Gavin Newsom. Like, this has 34 likes, so you don't see it, right? So you think this has no motion. This has maximum motion internally because politicians are completely fucking removed from these conversations. They see this a million times over. They never hear your cries, okay? They never encounter people like you. Okay? That's insane. Why do we still support Israel? Brother, I'm explaining it to you. Look, it's powerful moneyed interests.
A topical question. You have said that Iran should not have nuclear weapons, no way, no how, and you have said that we should reconsider, look at our relationship with Israel. How do you reconcile those? Or how do you put those together?
It's more on the conditional as it relates to funding. I talked about it tonight in terms of my relationship to Israel. I was there right after the 7th. I visited not only the president but Bibi after the terrorist attack, met with those survivors, those victims of that horrific night. I also came as the only governor, I think, in the country with a field hospital that we've packed up for the Israelis. I visited there. I love the state of Israel. I just don't like the state of play with the current administration. Bibi.
Like this is him getting whipped. Okay? He can't even say like Israel's an apartheid state any longer because that would require him to recognize that it's not just the current administration, but it's all the administrations prior. And it will be the next administration if Benjamin Netanyahu is no longer in power. That's the real fear here. I just don't like the current administration. That's what it is. And then they're like, okay, good. Okay, good, slave. You did it. You did it, you slave. You fucking did it. You gave us what we wanted. You said the right words. Why does he sound like he's got a fucking gun to his goddamn head? Stop being a bitch, Gavin. You are in charge of the 4th largest economy on the fucking planet. Jesus Christ.
Israel, but I'm not a supporter. I'm not a supporter of the direction he's going as it relates to the annexation of the West Bank. And I think there is a point, Tom Friedman and others have written about this, if that's the direction he's going to take us, I think as an American citizen, is that the direction that we embrace and we want to celebrate with our tax dollars? I'm going to have their back, but I think it has to be. Donald Trump is conditioning aid for fire victims and recovery. I mean, you would think we're going to use our resources overseas. We would have policies that may support, I believe, two-state solution that wouldn't necessarily support the kind of promotion and policies that Bibi and the hardliners are currently promoting. So, yeah, I'm happy the Supreme Leader's dead. Good riddance. I understand deeply there's no larger Iranian diaspora than the state of California, why people were celebrating in the streets the tyrannical reign of 37 years for the particular Supreme Leader, 47 overall. But this war concerns me. This now is a regional war. Allies are mistakenly shooting down American jets. We had the first casualty, one of the 6 lives in our backyard in Sacramento, California.
Anyway, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. It's him like backing away to be like, oh, I just don't like Bibi. I don't like Bibi. It's insane. What is this? Example, 21,000 of many of the Jewish community are upset at politicians calling out Israel's illegal policies more than the policies themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's fucking insane, dude. It's insane. What the hell are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? You're this much of a bitch, Gavin? God damn. We appreciate Governor Gavin Newsom's statement that it is vital to distinguish between criticism of the Netanyahu government and the delegitimization of Israeli democracy. While we disagree with conditioning aid to Israel, you have long supported Israel and the American Jewish community, and we're grateful to have that long-standing support. I love the state of Israel. I just don't like the state of play with the current administration. Stop calling Israel the Jewish state. Call it the Zionist state. Call it Herzl's project. Call it whatever you like, but don't give the name of the religion and entire political entity. Israel is not a Jewish state. Zionism is not Judaism. Zionists are not Jewish. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true, and it's very frustrating that it's like, it is actually... like, let's be real. It is Jews in most circumstances that actually do this dangerous conflation. It's crazy. Obviously, the overwhelming majority of support for Israel still understandably comes from Christian Zionists, evangelical Christian Zionists, okay? But like every single Jewish advocacy organization, with the exception of like 3, are unironically just invested in the state of Israel. They don't give a fuck about Jews at all. They don't give a fuck about Jews. They only care about Israel. Why does Finkelstein call it Jewish supremacy? Because, like, there's regular Judaism, okay? Just like there's regular Christianity, and then there's Christian supremacy, Christian nationalism. And Zionism is Jewish supremacist. It's a supremacist fascist ideology. That's what it is. But we hear the word Jewish and we freak out because for most of our lives, we've learned, understandably, that, you know, Jews are a marginalized community. They must be protected. And it's true. Historically speaking, it is true. You know, pogroms happened. The Holocaust happened. Like, Jews have been historically undermined. Zionism, on the other hand, is entirely separate. If you can contextualize Christianity, like the broader understanding of Christianity, and then separate that from the likes of Pete Hegseth or evangelical Christianity, or, you know, the most rabid, monstrous versions of Christianity, you can make that separation amongst Judaism and Zionism. Is jihad Muslim supremacy? No, dumbass. But ISIS would probably be a version of that, right? It would be equivalent to running around and saying ISIS is true Islam. ISIS is true Islam. ISIS is the superior version of Islam. Jihad just means struggle. It doesn't even mean crusade or a holy war. But yeah, this is some of the this is some of the outcomes of leaning into this supremacy unconditionally.
You can see the fuel tanker trucks in the area that have clearly burned here and been destroyed. The fire is still ongoing. Despite the enemy's claims that it only strikes military targets, I deny this and state clearly that it is lying.
Israel says it's hit.
Yeah, wait till they start saying the Iranian Red Crescent is actually also Hamas, or I guess they'll say it's the Ayatollah lives inside of the Iranian Red Crescent. Wait till they start striking Iranian Red Crescent targets. Because, like, the Gaza method is the only method these fucking animals know. Okay? Americans and the Israeli military, they're barbarous. They're monsters. They only know one speed. Just ultra violence over and over again. Okay? Hitting hospitals, hitting schools, targeting medical professionals. The double strikes, double taps.
100 military targets over the past day, and that the oil depots were used by Iran to fuel their missile launches. The Revolutionary Guard say they have plenty of missiles still in reserve.
Our capable armed forces, the powerful forces of the Islamic Republic, are fully prepared to sustain at least a 6 months, full-scale, high-intensity war at the current pace.
Promises not to strike the Gulf were quickly withdrawn. There was a massive fire at a high-rise building in Kuwait after a wave of drone and missile attacks there. And debris from intercepts causing damage across Israel, with 2 seriously injured.
I'm not gonna lie, I swear to God, the fucking clerics are gonna cook this goddamn country again. Look, I'm not. It's their country. I don't know how much, you know, I don't know what Khamenei's son is going to be like. But if he's going to be exactly like Khamenei, Iran is fucking cooked. Okay? Sources at Iran have told Iran Wire that Iran's de facto security chief Ali Larijani is opposed to Mojtaba Khamenei becoming the leader. Larijani supports his brother Sadek Larijani, a high-ranking cleric, in fight for leadership. I don't know if this is real or not, but why they lasted this long? Brother, I think the way I look at it is that while Khamenei initially also was a revolutionary figure, he was both very stubborn. He was stubborn in all the worst ways. Too stubborn to either give up on the fucking denuclearization program altogether, which would have been a mistake regardless, and also too stubborn to allow Iran to actually commit to a nuclear program. Stubborn in the worst ways possible when it comes to changes that needed to be made internally at the domestic level to ease on some of these religious restrictions, to ease on some of these restrictions that the people were experiencing. Okay. And then too passive in terms of setting up military deterrence against regional enemies. Like literally always in the fucking middle of all of these issues, and had supreme power and complete control over the country. Continuing along with that legacy will be devastating. What is it, Kasama? Yo, this son of a bitch, he got me some Pinoy. What? Bro, that's crazy.
I wanted to try it.
Look at this. He brought me snacks, and there's a fucking bite in it.
The guy who
Okay.
So, shout out Matthew.
Shout out Matthew that works at, what is it, Kasama? It's a Filipino, it's like a Michelin star Filipino restaurant. Oh my God. Oh, damn. He waited in line for an hour in the wind. Oh my God. It's heavenly. Being charged right here. Oh, it's done. Here. This guy brought it for me. It's so fucking good. Oh my God. You gotta let Marsh take a bite. He's so thin, he'll fly away without a little snacky. Bro, he eats more than me. Anyway, it's Kasama. Yeah, anyway. The fucking, the clerics are gonna cook the country if they try to like go back to business as usual, because business as usual is what led to this situation, this predicament Iran is in right now. And Iran is literally fighting its way out of this situation. And you feel like there's a very different energy with the way that Iran has been for the last 7 days, as opposed to like pre-Ayatollah, as opposed to pre-Ayatollah assassination. It's because, yes, the IRGC is in control right now.
Workers say from cluster munitions. We just got an alert on our phones here in Jerusalem and went to find the nearest shelter. And I just want to show you.
What?
Here it is in this building. Okay. And people are still sleeping at night down here because they're so worried about the sirens. And it made me think how in Israel you have shelters in every building and people are used to coming downstairs and staying in them. But that won't be the case in Iran. It won't be the case all across the Gulf. And now there are missiles going in all directions. In Lebanon, the death toll is rising as Israel continues to pound Hezbollah targets. More than 390 now dead, 83 of them children. This war on multiple fronts is reshaping the Middle East, but the cost is heavy and the destination unknown. Diana Magne, Sky News, Jerusalem.
Welcome back, and joining me now is the Foreign Minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi. Mr. Foreign Minister, welcome to Meet the Press.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. I have to ask you the big question on everyone's mind. Who is in charge in Iran right now?
Well, it is already known. The council of the interim leadership council is now in charge, and they are doing their act in the absence of the leader, while a new supreme leader is going to be elected soon by the Assembly of Experts. And the president and the cabinet are also doing their duties. Parliament.
Araghchi, has been a really interesting figure in all of this. He has been a pretty solid communicator, a pretty reliable communicator, constantly going on Western news, constantly speaking, constantly explaining the Iranian position. I think he's doing a very good job.
Everything is in its place.
Well, there are reports this morning that the Iranian.
I do think that Americans also have the capacity to understand. Like when Lavrov does this shit, people are like, all right, buddy, you're the offender here, right? However, in spite of the fact that the Iranians are supposed to be the enemy, in spite of the fact that like Americans are primed into believing that, you know, Iranians are barbaric or whatever the fuck. When Arakshi goes on Western television and keeps talking and explaining the Iranian position, I think he's doing a pretty good job of humanizing the Iranians and accurately describing the position of the Iranians in a way that I think a lot of Americans respond much more positively to than you would think. There's also obviously a very significant difference between a guy who has, you know, multiple degrees versus someone like fucking Donald Trump. That's really a thing with like all the foreign adversaries, even including like, you know, Russians, Ukrainians, European leaders, Chinese leaders. Like when you have someone who actually has the pedigree, and they speak convincingly on the issues that pertain to their country, I think Americans look at that and go, well, our guy is Donald Trump and our guy is Pete Hegseth, and they're so fucking stupid. Like that juxtaposition, that intelligence gap is very clear, you know?
The Assembly of Experts has come to a decision on a new supreme leader for Iran. Many have suggested it would be the son of the late supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. Will he be the next leader of Iran?
Well, nobody knows. Actually, there are lots
Hit him
of
with the
rumors
Shia
around.
smile.
But, you know, we have to wait for the Assembly of Experts to convene and vote for the new supreme leader and the one who is elected by them.
Do you think he should?
It's ironic because they're a theocracy, but we are an infinitely more barbaric version of the theocratic approach that they have, right? Like they're a theocracy. Look at the numbers, right? The idea is that they're like an Islamic theocracy and therefore they're backwards, they're barbaric. But then you look at their education, the educational goals that they've hit. You look at like women's education in Iran as opposed to women's education in America. And it's like, it's alarming that they have a higher amount of degree holders per capita than the United States of America does. They have more engineers than we do. They have more people in medicine than we do. They have more women representation in these fields than we do. like we're like, they're a backwards Islamic theocracy. We are supposed to be the secular country that's supposed to be the secular Western liberal democracy. And we can't even hit any of those fucking targets that we have decided showcase prosperity. Because these are targets that we consider to be prosperous. What are you trying to say? My attainment is shit? Yes, educational attainment in the United States of America is fucking doo-doo. Yeah, when you look at the education of women in Iran, it does make a lot more sense why women demand change in Iran. I know, you can't have both of those things at the same time. You can't have access to the internet, deteriorating material conditions, and an incredibly well-educated populace and assume that this shit's not going to fucking blow up. Something's got to give. I'm sorry. It's one of the most understandable things that people demand. Okay? That's one of my major criticisms. Not that it's relevant in this moment, not that it's in any way, shape, or form worthy to even fucking bring up. Yeah. In Iran, women make up over 60% of the university students. In some years, female enrollments peaked 70 to 75%. Approximately 70% of science and engineering graduates in Iran are women. In the United States, women account for 69.5% of total university enrollment. Within STEM fields, women make up roughly 27% of workers and 35% of graduates. In Iran, women make up 70% of science and engineering graduations. Okay? It's so incredible. Like, there is no better way to describe Western arrogance than a bunch of dumbass Americans who couldn't even get a fucking GED thinking, oh, Iran, you know, where they oppress the women. And there is a lot of oppression in the social side of things. But, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you think this is like a backwards country that rides camels, and it's like, no, they're an engineering nation, okay? Is that before or after they cut women in half? Yeah. In Iran, they're making the women engineers, and then they're chopping them in half.
The next leader
anyway,
of
we
Iran?
got to move right now.
Well, anybody which is elected by the Assembly of Experts would be the next.
But I'll continue
Supreme
my
Leader
commentary on the car right
As
there.
you know, the members of the Assembly are already, elected directly by the people.
All right. Well, President Trump says he should pick the new leader of Iran. Will Iran allow President Trump to have any role in picking its new leader?
We allow nobody to interfere in our domestic affairs. This is up to the Iranian people to elect their new leader. They have already elected the Assembly of Experts, and the Assembly of Experts would do the job. It is only the business of the Iranian people and nobody else's business.
President Trump says there will be no deal with Iran except for, quote, unconditional surrender. Will Iran agree to unconditional surrender for the sake of bringing this war to an end, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Well, this is what he asked previous time, last year in June, that when Israel started to attack us, President Trump used the same phrase, unconditional surrender. That was a tweet he made. And that didn't happen. We resisted, and after 12 days, Israelis asked for unconditional ceasefire.
What?
So we never give up, we never surrender, and we continue to resist as long as it takes. We continue to defend ourselves, and we are defending our territory, our people, and
Hakan Fidan'ın olduğunu sandığı adam.
our dignity. And our dignity is not for sale.
Well, let me ask you, because what conditions would Iran accept to bring this war to an end?
Well, actually, we are not at that point yet. Obviously, this time is different from the previous time. Last time, we accepted the ceasefire. But, this time is quite different. And the reason is obvious. Last time they attacked us. They made aggression against us. They killed our people. They destroyed our places and then asked for a ceasefire. And we accepted out of good faith.
What do you say to utilitarians who claim the Ayatollah killed 30,000 civilians and used that to justify American military intervention? That's so funny. First of all, that number is wrong. And secondly, that's not a utilitarian perspective at all, because look at what we're doing right now. It's like acid rain is pouring on the Iranian population currently. Oh, to save, let's say the number is correct. It's not, but let's say the number is correct. So what? The answer is to ruin the lives of 93 million people? How is that fucking utilitarian? That's not utilitarian at all. The notion that America cares about the democratic process or liberating the Iranian people is already such an abject fucking lie that the American government isn't even fucking leaning into that, right? Like, they're not even, like, they killed 160 school children, man. Come on.
Because we were only exercising the act of self-defense. And when the aggression was stopped, we stopped too. But, it didn't bring about peace. And now this year, they again started to attack us. And again, they are killing our people. They are killing, girl students. They are attacking hospitals, freshwater desalinations, refineries, everywhere. People have been killed. Places have been destroyed. And now they want to ask for a ceasefire again. Well, this doesn't work like this. So there should be a permanent end of the war. And unless we get to that, I think we need to, continue fighting for the sake of our people and our security.
We are going to get to the reports about some of the deaths in just a moment, but just to stay on this topic, would Iran ever agree to a ceasefire to get back to the negotiating table to end all of this military conflict?
Well, they have to explain why they started this aggression before we come to the point to even consider a ceasefire. Of course, nobody wants to continue this war. This is not our war. This is not the war of our choice. This is imposed on us by the United States, by Israelis. They have, started this war unprovoked, unwarranted, illegally. And what we are doing is legal act of self-defense, and we have every right to do that. So it is not fair that if only stops the aggression and ask us to stop too. As I said, this time is different.
Let me ask you about some of what Iran has been doing. Iran has launched hundreds of missiles at 13 other nations in the region. On Saturday, the Iranian president apologized for those strikes on neighboring Gulf states. Was it a mistake for Iran to attack its neighbors?
Well, it is a mistake if you consider that Iran is attacking its neighbors. No, we are not attacking our neighbors. We are attacking American bases, American, installations, American assets, which are unfortunately located in the soils of our neighbors. So we are not attacking our neighbors. We are attacking Americans who are attacking us. We are retaliating. We have not started this war. It is Americans who started this war against us, attacking us, and we are defending ourselves. So it is obvious that our missiles cannot reach the U.S. Soil. What we can do is to attack American bases and American installations around us, which are unfortunately in the soils of our neighborly countries.
But Mr. Foreign Minister, if you're not attacking your neighbors, why did the Iranian president apologize?
Well, first of all, apology in our culture is a sign of dignity and strength. Secondly, he apologized from the peoples of the region for the inconveniences they have faced because of this aggression by the United States and retaliation by us. So as a matter of fact, it is in fact the President of the United States who should apologize from the people of the region and Iranian people for the killings and destructions they have done against us.
Let me ask you, because NBC News is reporting that Iran is receiving help from Russia to help locate U.S. forces. Are you receiving any help from Russia?
Well, we have a strategic partnership with Russia.
So that's a yes?
And, well, a military cooperation between Iran and Russia is not something new. It's not a secret. It has been in the past and is still there and will continue in the future.
Is Russia helping you locate U.S. forces? I just want to be very clear here.
Well, I don't have exact military information. As far as I know, we have a very good partnership with Russia.
So they are helping you. They are providing intelligence.
Well, they are helping us in many different directions. I don't have any detailed information.
Okay, let's move to the strike on the elementary school in southern Iran. It killed more than 170 people, including many children. President Trump said Iran is responsible for that strike. What is your response to what the president said?
Well, it is funny. It is our school. These are our students, our girls, and they are attacked by an American fighter. jet fighter, and they have been killed. Why Iran is responsible? Have we started this war? Have we attacked our own people? No, we were negotiating with the United States. And in the middle of negotiations, in the middle of diplomacy, they decided to attack us. And they have attacked so many places, including schools and hospitals. And there are all evidences that this school is attacked by an American, jet fighter.
Where is the Iranian evidence that this was a U.S. attack, a jet fighter, as you say? Will you provide
But if it was not U.S., then who was that? Maybe Israelis. But it is obvious who else is attacking us.
Well, let me move on to this question about potential ground troops. You said earlier this week on U.S. ground troops to my colleague Tom Yamas, quote, "We are waiting for them." But President Trump says the condition for sending troops to Iran would be that Iran, quote, would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level. Is the president right? Would you not be able to fight at the ground level, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Well, at least this is not the case right now. For the time being, we are capable enough. We have very brave soldiers who are waiting for any enemy who enter into our soil to fight with them and to kill them and destroy them. So, and that would be the case in the coming days and the coming years, and always in our in Iran. We are brave people. We have a great civilization. We have defended our land for thousands of years, and we continue to do that as much as it takes.
All right. Good?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? We're back. We're on our way right now to link up with Mayor Brandon Johnson and the JAAM podcast boys. But while we're in the Uber on our way there,
Schools and hospitals.
I'm going to continue with where you left off. I'm going to scroll back a little bit and take a look at the video. I'm going to be live reacting from the car, something no one has ever done before in the history of this franchise. Okay? No one has ever come close to doing something so dastardly.
Not a minute wasted.
So devious. We're gonna try live reacting on the phone. Okay?
As far as I know, we have a very good partnership with Russia.
So they are helping you. They are providing intelligence.
Well, they are helping us in many different directions. I don't have any detailed information.
Okay, let's move.
That's a yes. Which is also, I mean, I don't know the extent. I don't know the extent of Russian help to the Iranian side, but it is kind of funny for Americans of all people to be complaining about this, because like it is a direct role reversal in this circumstance where they're like, oh well, Russia invaded Ukraine, so we have to help out our ally Ukraine. Okay, well, America is bombing Iran right now. Why shouldn't Russia help Iran, right? And it's really funny. Oops.
This is great. You just do all your streams like this.
This is how I should do my streams, yeah. And it's a little
More
it's a
interesting.
little ridiculous that they're fucking upset about that. Same with China, especially with
strike
China.
on the elementary school in southern Iran.
This was the most insane part of the interview, by the way, when the fucking audacity of a Western news anchor. What she says here is unfucking bearable.
More than 170 people, including many children.
I'll hold
President
chat right
Trump
here.
said Iran is responsible for that strike. What is your response to what the president said?
By the way, Arakshi in this moment has a very unique opportunity because he's been like, President Trump doesn't know anything. He is stupid. If he had said that, he'd become a legend. Like literally, overnight legend.
Well, it is funny.
It is our school. These are our students, our girls, and they are attacked by an American fighter, a jet fighter, and they have been killed. Why Iran is responsible? Have we started this war? Have we attacked our own people? No, we were negotiating with the United States. And in the middle of negotiations, in the middle of diplomacy, they decided to attack us. And they have attacked so many places, including schools and hospitals. And there are all evidences that this school is attacked by an American jet fighter.
Where is the Iranian evidence that this?
Where's the Iranian evidence, bro? The Americans literally showed a strike map. Pete Hegseth went up on stage and said, we are no longer abiding by gay stuff like rules of engagement, international human rights. These things have set us back for far too long. Like, we're not doing that no more. So you got the Department of War, the head of the Department of War openly admitting it. And then he came out and had those maps of where they struck, and literally on the maps that they were showing, you could see the Mina school right in between the two targets, right in between the two areas that they had bombed. After all of that, like, you've basically gotten confirmation at that point. Oh shit, it's green again, it's glorping. Okay, it's fine for now. I will fix the ingest if necessary. We're on it though. We're aware of the problems. We're aware of the problems, Chad. Did you talk?
That's good.
It glorped up again, and then it went back in, and it glorped up again. No whacker.
It's the tunnel.
It was the tunnel? This shouldn't happen in these fucking, with this backpack though. I think there's something wrong with the backpack.
Yeah, someone clip the glorp and send it to me so I can use it as evidence.
We're back, I think. It's glorping time, or are we back? Check the chat. Okay. But as I was saying, before I got rudely interrupted by the glorp, you have almost complete confirmation, right? At this point, you have complete confirmation from the American authorities that they did that shit. And NBC Meet the Press is still like, well, what's the evidence? Like, what do you mean, what's the evidence? It's like the American government has basically taken ownership over this attack. All evidence from the American side points to the Americans being responsible for this. The Israeli side literally came out and said, this one's not on us. I understand why you would think we bombed the school. You know, we're kind of known for that thing, but it was actually the Americans this time. So, like, basically everyone is aware that this is the American responsibility, right? So the fact that they're still trying to ask these sorts of questions is so ridiculous. This is not journalism. This is propaganda.
This attack, a jet fighter, as you say. Will you provide?
If it was not US, then who was that? Maybe Israelis. It is obvious who else is attacking us.
Well, let me move on to this question about potential.
Let's just move on. I guess you have no evidence. Let's just move on. You fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you out of your mind? What the fuck is wrong with you? There is no real journalistic purpose there. Like, as someone who, covers this stuff fairly frequently, this is a big part of my job. That question has zero journalistic value. Okay, why are y'all posting links? He's obviously not looking. I am looking at the chat. I'm just not going to click on links for now because I'm live reacting.
On U.S. ground troops to my colleague Tom Yamas, quote, "We are waiting for them." But President Trump says the condition for sending troops to Iran would be that Iran, quote, would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level.
The Israeli technique, by the way, once again, you know, churn and burn, bomb civilian areas, destroy the civil existence of the population that you're seeking to militarily dominate, and only after that go in with ground troops. Now, of course, with Iran, it's a little different. Massive country. It's not Gaza. It's a sovereign nation, which is kind of the whole problem from the American perspective, right? And therefore, they have set their defenses up for exactly this kind of predicament. This is the reason why the IRGC, the IRGC commander keeps doing fan cam edits, aura farming, being like, "We are welcoming Americans into the strait. Please try to ensure the oil tankers. We would love for your naval assets to come into the strait, please." Just like they keep repeating over and over again, "Please come and militarily invade the country. That would be wonderful for us. We're waiting for it."
The president right? Would you not be able to fight at the ground level, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Well, at least it's not the case right now. For the time being, we are capable enough. We have very brave soldiers who are waiting for any enemy who enter into our soil to fight with them and to destroy and to kill them and destroy them. So, and that will be the case in the coming days and the coming years, and always in our in Iran. We are brave people. We have a great civilization. We have defended our land for thousands of years, and we continue to do that as much as it takes.
Let me ask you, because you have said that this was a war of choice. President Trump said one of the reasons for launching this war was that Iran, quote, already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases and would soon. Have missiles capable of reaching America? Was Iran planning to directly attack the United States?
Well, this is not true. This is in fact misinformation. We have
You mean like, as they call it, fake news.
the ability to produce missiles, but we have intentionally limited ourselves to below 2,000 kilometers of range because we don't want to be felt as a threat by anybody else in the world. We have not started any plan to increase the range of our missiles
Big mistake.
more than what it is right now. So there is no evidence, there is no intelligence, nothing to indicate that Iran is going to...
Same posture with the Democratic Party, which is, if they're going to call you a communist, then you might as well become a communist. They're going to say, "Oh, you have you have munitions that are capable of targeting U.S. soil." If you're going to have nuclear weapons down the line, you're going to need to develop delivery systems as well. That's just the reality. Now, that's for a future Iran, depending on what takes place. Can you tilt your phone a bit to the left? The Hasanabi doctrine is the only doctrine in realpolitik in a nuclear world. If you want to develop sovereignty, you have to have nuclear arms. It's that simple. It's clear that these guys can't rely on Russia either. Russia used to, when the USSR existed, Russia used to be the nuclear umbrella as a counterforce to NATO and a counterforce to the Western capitalist nuclear umbrella that was created. It created a semblance of security for countries that chose whichever side they were on. In the absence of such nuclear protection, nations that are especially non-aligned, if you want to call it that, because we don't have the Soviet bloc any longer. Someone said 346 Holy Toledo. Oh, we just passed a gas station. Holy Toledo. The price of gas is up, up, up. Haven't seen prices like this since 1976. Anyway, let's finish this interview.
Long-range missiles, let alone those missiles who can reach the United States soil.
All right, and of course, U.S. officials say that negotiations over this came to a halt, and that is part of why they moved forward with this action. Minister Arachi, thank you very much. We will obviously be tracking everything that unfolds very closely. We appreciate your being here.
I want to show you something, because after those fires raged, there was actually rain here in Tehran this morning, and you can see here.
This is the CNN guy that everyone's really mad at. All the Zionists are really mad at, because he's reporting directly from Iran, and Americans and Israelis are really upset that Iran seemingly has more press freedoms afforded to a national from the country that's bombing it right now than Israel does with allied regions, allied countries, especially in terms of allowing them entry into Gaza. Of course, if you're a reporter, you can report from inside of Israel, and there's a military censor in Israel as well, and that military censorship applies to everyone that reports out of Israel, for the record. For those of you who don't know, before you say, well, Iran has tremendous censorship, it's true, Iran does have censorship, except so does Israel. So you can't show successful strike targets. You can't show the actual impact, the damage, if the Israeli government decides it's actually not good for propaganda purposes. And of course, with respect to Israel, Israel still has yet to allow any foreign journalists into Gaza. The only journalists that they've allowed into Gaza are actually state propagandists that they send with security detail. They haven't, since they relinquished control over at least 50% of the Gaza territory and gave it back to Hamas and the Palestinians. So ever since that has taken place, they've not allowed any independent reporters, independent journalists, independent investigators into Gaza as well. So of course, one is the barbaric Islamic country. The other one is obviously the most moral nation on the planet. The only nation on the planet that matters. As a matter of fact, no other nation matters at all. Am Israel Chai, Am Israel Chai, Am Israel Chai. But, just something to consider. But it is very funny that, people are mad. People are mad at any coverage whatsoever coming from inside of Iran. Because it makes it a little bit more difficult, and it also humanizes the Iranians.
After those fires raged, there was actually rain here in Tehran this morning, and you can see here, because this is a white car, that the rain is actually apparently saturated with oil. You can see on my finger that it's completely blackened, and that's something that's been coming down for the better part of this morning. So of course that's all.
Look at that. That's liberation. Liberation for the Iranian people in the form of melting their oil refineries, in the form of destroying their water desalination plants, trying to cripple the 93 million Iranian population's access to fresh water, to drinkable water. How nice of us to do that. How nice of us to engage in this kind of liberatory acts.
So a concern for folks here in Tehran that there's this rain that came down that seems to be saturated with oil. On the whole, the lines here, I wouldn't call them massively long, and the authorities have said they are going to try and mitigate this problem, get fuel from other places to this area, but certainly for now, you can tell that people are concerned about the situation.
Of course, I'm a little worried because fuel depots have been hit. Gas stations are a little more crowded. The line was very long. There was a very long line from here until the end of the street. It's not a big deal, even if fuel runs out. I'll park the car and use alternative transport.
Iran's Gulf neighbors report a new wave of strikes after the Iranian.
Yeah, it has, it has been quite remarkable to see the coverage. But yeah, the Iranian people are they're very resilient, UCLA hat, possibly not credible. what's the credible reporting from Iran, you think? Like, what would be the credible reporting? People being like, we love it. We're either A, we're terrified because America's blowing our shit up and it's disgusting and it's awful and we hate it, or B, we love it actually, it's awesome, thank you for blowing up our oil refineries. I didn't even need that shit anyway. I'm a renewable energy advocate and also think that it should be the Knesset that decides who our next supreme leader is. That's a lie. There is free press in Iran. Women don't have to wear the hijab if they don't want to. Many wear the hijab. Of course, women in businesses, many women in university, lots of engineers, scientists. It's a little bit more complex than the way you're representing it. There are areas where the hijab restrictions have certainly been eased, obviously Tehran being one of those places, but there have been times, considering that it's still in the rules, where the military or the police force of the government can decide to use the existing rules in order to engage in the act of repression. And they do. The Mahsa Amini protests were a good example of this. I mean, and thousands of people were arrested in the process, and many were killed as well. So to say that like the situation is black and white, oh, it's green again.
Really? Oh no. Let me see.
Is it still glorping?
Any glorpers? Looks like it's back now.
By the time we see it, oh, it's fine. Oh, it's for a second. God damn it, chat. Yeah, it literally happened with Bernie too. That was so sad.
Okay, yeah, we gotta. I'll make a note. I'm gonna hit him up.
How the West can put a standard on a population that had to liberate itself from Western hegemony is peak entitlement? Oh, for sure. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, from the perspective of, like, regular Iranians that are, you know, there are still plenty of regular Iranians that are in favor of this process. Like I said, it's like a 20 to 30 for the Ayatollah. But outside of that, there's also a lot of discontent, and that's an understandable discontent that exists, especially from my perspective. I mean, it's hard not to recognize that this is a system of repression that a lot of people consider to be unacceptable. I personally would be very frustrated and would absolutely fucking protest living under a system like that. It's glorping again. What the fuck? It's fine now. It's fine. Lol, chat flips out over the most minor shit.
Well, it still shouldn't be happening.
It's not the Rust Belt internet, chat. It's our bag for sure.
Yeah, it should not ever be happening out here.
Yeah.
Or it might just be like the HDMI cables, which I'm going to replace immediately too.
But once again, that is a totally separate subject and utterly irrelevant in this conversation, which is why I don't even like bringing it up when we're talking about it, because I think many people use that in the purest Western chauvinistic ways possible. They use that as a reason. They want to bring that up specifically to be like, I don't like what America's doing, but also these guys are pretty bad. They had it coming, you know? It's victim blaming. The dynamic has shifted dramatically. Gas check. This one doesn't even have a gas price.
It's just so high. It's not
so high. They chose not to even put it on there.
It's market price.
He's saving America, man. He's winning. We're winning. Wait, there now exists a video or where Tomahawk hits the school? Actually, that's probably AI, right? That's got to be fucking AI. Iran has released a video of the strike at the girls' school. A U.S. Tomahawk missile is clearly visible, debunking the U.S. blatant lie. They also struck the same school 40 minutes later to murder those involved in the rescue effort. don't know if there's actual visual confirmation yet. I'll have to look at it. Jacob Kornbluth. Jewish People Policy Institute survey of 692 American Jews with relatively strong ties to the Jewish community, Jewish identity, or Israel. 68% support the U.S. decision to go to war against Iran, while 26% oppose it. I swear to God, I've never experienced such a clear-cut, like, difference in you know, opinion and a lack of interest in, like, reading the fucking room from a lot of these organizations that conduct surveys like this. To be like, you see, Jews are overwhelmingly in support of destroying Iran. Jews in America are overwhelmingly for this. It's like, brother, it doesn't matter. Oh, 347, 361, 427. Winning.
Hide this real quick.
Yeah. It's very frustrating to see that.
You're welcome, sir.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, wherever you want here. It's good.
Well, I can turn it.
Okay.
Okay. Here is fine, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Takma var arkadaş.
Arkadaş. Eyvallah, eyvallah.
It's windy.
Hey, Keith.
What's up?
Keith.
Chris,
nice to meet you.
Hello. March.
March, nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Hello.
Armando.
March, pleasure to meet you again. Should we go in here? Or?
1 minute out. Oh, wait outside. That alarm will go off and the door is open.
Oh.
So I got here for a minute.
Okay.
We'll just do a lap up towards Central a bit and loop back, and they're going to end over on Laramie. So we'll hang out. The JAAM guys are about a minute, 2 minutes away.
What's going on, Hassan? Nice to meet you.
March, pleasure to meet you. Should I show you?
Yeah, sure. Here, we'll start. Because I have an intro as well. We're out here in the Windy City, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful Windy City. It's actually a beautiful sunny day in the city of Chicago. And I will be hanging out with the mayor of this beautiful city, Brandon Johnson, in a brief moment. I have an introduction prepared and I have some questions prepared ahead of time. Shout out to Eric Hovagim for helping me out with this. Brandon Johnson, DSA, 57th mayor of Chicago since 2023. Brandon Johnson's a former organizer for Chicago Teachers Union, a social studies teacher. Unfortunately, Brandon Johnson's approval ratings have not been so high because he has gotten extreme opposition from Chicago capitalists. The capital owners in the city and also in the state of Illinois have been very aggressively coming after him since the beginning of his tenure. But Brandon Johnson is the 57th mayor of Chicago after a career as a social studies teacher, labor organizer, and Cook County commissioner. He's backed strongly by the Chicago Teachers Union, the Democratic Socialists of America, and progressive grassroots groups. He ran a platform focused on investing in housing, education, and community-based public safety rather than austerity or heavy policing. Since taking office, he's had to govern within one of the most complex political environments in the country while taking on his ops in city council factions, which include the very similar ops that you probably know from the Zoran situation. The police unions, let's be real, even though they are protecting, they're protecting us today. Wonderful cops. The real estate lobby, and also Rahm Emanuel, and dealing with tens and billions of inherited pension debt. His mayoralty has become a test of whether a popular progressive agenda can overcome the hurdles set forth by the capitalist class in one of America's largest cities.
I'm gonna wipe the lens real quick.
Okay. Oh, it's because of the scratch. There's a lens scratch.
Oh. Well, give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
This might not work yet. We'll see. Sorry for the flashbang chat. Did that work? Nope, you're right, it's a scratch. That might be inside of this.
What's going on? Are we? Yeah, oh yeah.
It's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming to Chicago. Hey.
All right, you paid that guy, huh?
You know, I was going to see a lot of that, right? Yeah.
All right, so what are we doing? We're going to be hanging out in here.
I'm not in charge of this. I'm just
okay.
Here on assignment.
We're gonna do a lap. We're just waiting one.
Hey, what's going on, man?
All right.
Good, brother. How are you? Good, man. Come on, man. Say hello, man. Feeling all right?
Yes, sir. I've been wanting to meet you face to face anyway.
It's a pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
You live in the neighborhood?
Yes, sir. Born and raised right here, Austin community. I'm a rapper, actor. I just got a movie out with 50 Cent and everything.
Straight up?
Yeah, slam. But man, congratulations, bro. Thank you for everything you do, man. For real. And you need to get more good publicity.
Yeah,
because they giving you like they too much on your ass.
You know
bro.
they giving me grief, but you know we strong.
Yes, sir.
644, we gonna stay strong.
Yeah, 60644. Yeah.
You got it. All right, man.
Blessings,
hey,
brother.
man, Darius, give him your card, man.
Yeah, damn, that's my name.
Yeah, man. So, gosh, you picked a nice day. Brought a little bit of that West Coast sunshine, man, into the city.
Yeah, it was raining when we first came in, but it's been really nice. It is very windy though. I get why they call it the Windy City.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah,
for sure.
So we're gonna walk around first. Is that what we want to do? Or we can just wait here. It doesn't matter to me, but if you guys want to walk, we can do that as well.
Yeah, we could start here.
Yeah.
We could start here, and then we can make our way in a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk here, and then we'll make our way.
Okay, all right, perfect. So what part of town are we in right now?
So we're on the west side of Chicago. This is the Austin neighborhood. It's the neighborhood that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I are raising our 3 children just a couple of blocks from here. We love it. It's a beautiful historic community. Once upon a time, it used to be the largest neighborhood in the entire city of Chicago, but unfortunately, because of past administration's ills, school closures, the loss of good public sector jobs, we are no longer the largest neighborhood, but this is still the largest concentration of working people, and particularly black folks, anywhere in the country. At the height of the neighborhood, we probably had, it was definitely 100,000 people just in this neighborhood. We're probably sitting around about 80,000 now, but still very vibrant and strong. And right now we're working our way back, but it's beautiful, man. I mean, the housing, the major corridors, man. We're down the historic Chicago Avenue, so yeah, this is my hood.
Yeah. You grew up here?
I didn't. I grew up just a little bit outside of the city, but once my wife and I decided to work our way, into the city, there was no doubt that we wanted to live right here on the west side. Yeah.
So he brought up the fact that they're on your ass, that you're, and this is something that I briefly alluded to in our last conversation, but it's something that I've been thinking quite a bit about as well. I do feel like there is somewhat of I wouldn't say like a media attack on you, but definitely like it's more critical than you would expect of a mayor of a large city. There are other mayors that have been in the spotlight in times of need, but they haven't received as much criticism as you have. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's one specific reason. I know that the city of Chicago is the global capital of the world, and the interests of corporations have long had their foot on the neck of working people and poor people. My election broke outside of that structure. I know that there are corporate interests that want to dominate this city, and I believe that as I continue to put forth the vision that is transformative, of course it's going to be met with resistance. Yesterday we said our final farewell to Reverend Jackson. He was a true example of someone who understood his assignment in Chicago, right? It's why when Dr. King came to the North and they knew they needed a strategist and an organizer in the North, they put Reverend Jackson in charge, and it wasn't like this. The power structure embraced, all of his ideals, man. And so we're still faced with many of those corporate interests that do not see the value of working people. And as long as, we're committed to ensuring that safe and affordable communities can become a reality, I think we should just anticipate the corporate order to to respond in the way in which they have, man. But I try not to, allow it to deter me. Clearly, as you heard the brother, people see it, right? And it has not stopped the support and the desire for us to build our communities in a way in which I think, our folks expect.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk about the funeral proceedings that took place for Reverend Jackson. He's a very important figure for American politics, very important figure for someone like myself as well, someone who I've looked up to and helped me develop a better understanding of American politics in general. I believe, hey, what's good? I believe that at the funeral proceedings, there were 3 presidents that came out and spoke. Yeah. And it was very interesting seeing it from the outside, like the way that they utilized the pulpit in that moment. And I wanted to hear, well, aside from what you think of the performance of Kamala Harris saying, "I told you so," using that as an opportunity to say, "I told you so," which didn't land very well with at least the people that were watching from outside. And then I believe Joe Biden had some words as well. Do you feel like they were like real torchbearers for Jesse Jackson's legacy, especially considering that he himself had oftentimes been at odds with some of these people directly, including but not limited to even Obama at times as well? How did you feel about those speeches?
Well, I mean, I think to some extent you heard each president admit that they had, disagreement with Reverend Jackson. President Clinton said that explicitly, in his speech. I think we're all clear that the so-called 3 strikes and you're out, policy was incredibly harmful and detrimental to working people, and particularly black folks in particular. Yeah. And, I think what they all at least shared was that they were a beneficiary, of his work, his legacy, right? I think that it's clear though, that we have not realized the full manifestation of what the Rainbow Coalition was all about. That's why I was very intentional about lifting up the fact that healthcare for all was a part of the platform of Reverend Jackson in '84. Yeah. He was calling for a single-payer healthcare system where you did not have, a system of winners and losers, right? Yeah. His stance around public education. I talked about the fact that it was Dr. King who understood the connection between labor rights and civil rights. He prophesied of the incredible potential that it had. So I think that as much as they possibly could, they wanted to take credit. They at least wanted to acknowledge they benefited. But I think it's important that we push the fact that we have still not fully accomplished what that platform was all about back in the 80s.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, well, the Jam Boys are here, so.
What's going on?
What's up, man?
How you doing, Mr. Baker? What's up? Welcome to my hood. What's up, man? How you doing, man? What's good?
What's good?
What's going on?
You going viral recently, man.
They said I was walking, then they said Jam. I was like, let me make sure we get some shoes, because I know I would not be able to out-bling y'all. I knew that. I was like, I got my wedding band, I got Citizens, that's it.
Now we rocking the red on the shoe.
That's
good. But welcome to Chicago again. Hey, y'all, I heard some of the conversation. It was very interesting. Yeah. We actually was just talking about it in the car. We were talking about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, funeral and everything, the things that Kamala said, things like that. Yeah. It's massive. Everybody was in town.
Oh man, wasn't that wild, man?
Yeah.
Gustavo Petro was here.
Really? Yeah. Cut the tape. Yeah, it was good. So we had, I believe it was the president of the Congo. Mm-hmm. We had South Africa. We had Colombia. Yeah. Of course, other dignitaries who were representative of these nations, man. But Reverend Jackson, man, was just such a large, political, civil, leader, but yet, man, hey, what's going on, man? But he was also, man, so connected to the ground, man, and it was really just beautiful to see, like, you know, from a child care provider to a president of another nation. Just like to hear people celebrate his life and his story, man. It was very humbling.
I think it was dope to see how many people came out, you know, showing the love and everything, like across the cities, like the sides of the city too, you know, like South Side came out, West Side came out, every side came out. So yeah, I think it was just dope to see all the love and support people have for him.
I think if people forget how central of a hub Chicago is.
That's right.
You know, like I always think about it whenever I'll see like how many figures that I know of came from here, and whenever stuff like that'll happen, it's like people, the narrative on the internet is so much focused about like the things that you see on local news, regardless of who has the influence to focus on those things, but it's never necessarily about the broader impact. So I love like moments like this get to just kind of showcase what Chicago's all about.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I mean, you had, you know, Isaiah Thomas, man, who, you know, another proud West Sider. He got called out for being a Piston, but it's like, my thing is, man, with him playing in Detroit, same thing with Mark Aguirre, another West Sider. It's like we send our family to go play with our cousins up in Detroit to get them a win, man. But Isaiah Thomas, you know, Chris Tucker talked about his influence. And I mean, man, everybody else in between, man. You had, you know, rabbis, you had, you know, leaders from Palestine, you know what I'm saying? Who were a part of it. You know, so it's a true testament of the global figure that he was.
No, Jesse Jackson was a lion. Like he did that. He did that shit. I think he played a role. He played a role in like numerous hostage release conversations. He understood that solidarity amongst the working class has an international component to it as well. And that always was another reason why I really appreciated his place.
How you doing?
How you doing? No, I appreciate. I think one of the things that I saw about Jesse Jackson, you know, all the clips started coming out, especially after his passing. And one of the most important things that I seen was kind of like, it kind of gave me inspiration for what like a future either left-wing political party or Democratic Party can look like. That focus on that unity among demographics, the interconnected struggle that all of them face. I feel like a lot of the times we get away from talking about the material things that can actually bring about those changes, at least on a national level. And I think it's a lot of stuff that we can learn from someone like him and a legacy like him, and even like taking that much further. Because like you said, we do still have a long way to go.
Like I'm curious too, man. Especially because I got a birthday coming up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm tripping, man. So yeah, man. I mean, I guess, this is your invitation. Yeah, it's a good way to just throw it out there. But hey, what's up? I'm the oldest person in my administration. I'm turning 50.
Oh,
so we have, with the exception of me, we have a relatively young administration. But I'm real curious, man. Like, how do like 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds see and view a Reverend Jackson?
I think, at least the way I
like a Jesus. In a sense, because it's like, he's that guy.
I think I was gonna say, same thing, kind of like in terms of like when you get older. Like when I got older, I started learning certain things about it. But like younger, like that was like that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like my granny was talking about him, my mama was talking about him, everybody was talking about him. So.
Oh, hey, how you doing? What's up? How you doing? Good. Thank you. How long you been doing business out here? No, you're welcome. How long? What do you? Oh, you got a whole big old.
Oh God, I'm about to get some.
I see here.
Oh my
good.
God,
It's really nice to see you.
Oh my God, have a good one. Have a good one.
I'm sorry, you said.
Nah, it was just, you know, like growing up, you hear about them, and you don't really know much other than like what the effect of like my granny was talking about him, my mom was talking about him, the church was talking about him all the time. So it's like, you know, you kind of view him as like a legend or like a prominent figure for coming from Chicago, you know?
You really like saw like, even with his death and the funeral, you saw the unity really happening after that. Like I'm really seeing like the internet blowing up over it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. I think. Did they really get food?
It's always that one guy.
Always that one.
Yeah, it's like, Mama, we would have been on time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what do you think? Do you think when it comes to someone like Reverend Jesse Jackson, do you think it's and I want to hear from both of y'all, do you think it's a positive thing that the younger generation looks at him like that, or do you think we should kind of pick it apart a little bit more and go deeper?
No, I think it's good because he's like people credit. So people credit Bernie Sanders in 2016 for like the rise of self-identifying socialism in the country, but I think like Jesse Jackson in the 80s was doing that, and it's something that Bernie Sanders also has always acknowledged as well. Jesse Jackson also endorsed Bernie too.
Yeah.
So like there have been, I would say that we've had periods in American politics where we had a much more radical approach.
Yes.
And much more militancy, labor militancy, different groups that were engaging in direct action in ways that were really impactful. But Jesse Jackson basically continued that legacy and continued carrying the torch of what the Black Panther Party was doing, the Rainbow Coalition. And I think he was an exceptionally important figure in American politics, and that's part of the reason why they engaged in a lot of whitewashing of his legacy.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating. You see that with MLK, and then the worst version of that is just like a lack of recognition at all for Malcolm X. But it's obvious to me that with Jesse Jackson, I feel like they're hitting the MLK whitewashing on his legacy as well, to just say like, oh, he's. He wanted to unite everybody. It turns into just like with MLK. It turns into like I had a dream. You know how like racist people love using that to be like, oh yeah, MLK wanted no anti-white racism. That's what his. that's the only takeaway you should get from MLK's legacy. They kind of do that with Jesse Jackson a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick it apart a little bit more. Maybe that's the social studies teacher in me.
I hear that.
I do believe that there is a strong value for Reverend Jackson. I will say that a prophet is not always well received or received at all in their own home. I had a chance to hang out with Reverend outside of the city of Chicago. The response is different, and I think it's not that we did not appreciate Reverend Jackson. It's just that we may have taken him for granted at times. Because he was just so ever present.
You think it was a sign of like kind of the fact of where we were in like American politics at the time and then where we are now? Like now we kind of can look in hindsight and be like, damn, we kind of took it for granted.
I think at times, I know that there were some real critical moments in recent city history that many people may not be aware of. He was still the convener. I remember when the Laquan McDonald video was uncovered, the organizing that was put together was done at Rainbow Push in his office. And at that time, the young folks were the millennials and had a much different vernacular than the Reverend Jackson era, right? So I was the Gen X who had to stand in the middle between millennials who, quite frankly, dropped more F-bombs than keep hope alive. But Reverend Jackson stood in that space, sent out a robocall on the Chicago Teachers Union's list.
Wow.
Like on Thanksgiving.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Like real controversial, right? And, at a time in which the tension between community and policing had begun to escalate anyhow, right? So you saw labor, you saw faith, you saw other community organizations come together at Rainbow Push, and Reverend was a central figure in all of that. But I will say that there were some younger organizers who did not necessarily see the Jackson generation as a part of modern day resistance. And so they got an education because they saw his influence and his impact in that moment, but I will say as a whole though, I think that life after for Reverend Jackson will be kinder than the life that he lived.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunately the nature of the beast. We call America or capitalism.
Yeah, I think it's super important to like point out, at least from my perspective, like growing up, hearing about Jesse, like I feel like it is one of those things where you do take for granted just because of how like present and how much I've seen him, especially like being here. But it's the constant work of making sure the legacy that is preserved is the ones that really take up those principles. Like when we talk about MLK and the whitewashing of that, it's like you never want to see a situation where, we talk about how much Chicago is like has remnants of segregation and stuff like that, and to see a political force and political movement that can start on the basis of unifying every demographic, like in this city in particular, that's very powerful. That like directly shows an antidote to like fascism, to apartheid policies, to stuff like that. And that's why I feel like it's so important to remember that now. Like the stuff that we pull from Jesse Jackson, because it feels like at least that wasn't the focus broadly, like on a national level. Now it seems like we're kind of getting back to that. Everyone's now aware of the moment we're in. And I think that makes it that much more impactful. And figures like that are people who we really do have to highlight, because it kind of gives us a pathway, I feel like.
Yep.
I will say this, as far as like my audience is very white, right? I have an international audience as well. The international perspective is obviously like focused on his advocacy on that front. And there's a lot of respect for him there too, because like people love when an American will come out and be like, oh no, I understand what's going on here. Like this is messed up. We gotta. I mean, he hung out with Fidel Castro. Like those are very important moments in American history. But then, as far as white people goes, in my community, even like there was a lot of people who were like, I am so deeply ashamed that I learned about him in a very negative way in my household, because like the media coverage in mainstream, on the mainstream side of things, the media coverage on Jesse Jackson was not good at all. Like it was very, they attacked him. They would often bracket him in the same way as Al Sharpton, from back when Al Sharpton was more radical, let's say. So it's been a wake-up call for a lot of people, I think, especially now when like broader subsects of society are starting to recognize that there is like an implicit bias in mainstream news.
Yes.
It's not always bad, right? But there are certain blind spots, let's say, racial blind spots certainly, but then also blind spots in general for any kind of advocacy that they consider to be anti-capitalist or radical. And people are now, I think, becoming more aware of that and reconsidering their prior biases about certain things, about the way that they've learned about certain things.
I want to ask Mayor Johnson, like, do you think, in the same vein of that, what do you see as the position of, I guess, revolutionary / like radical politics, I guess, considered in America? Like, what's that role today? Because we've seen throughout history, like you said, the media frame, or how there will be crackdowns on people for simply believing like people should have freedom of expression, freedom to explore whatever ideology suits them. What do you see, like, are you looking to have more of an embrace of people who might be more out there, might be more, I guess, radical considered? Because I feel like those are the people who've always been doing the work. You know, those are people who've always been in the ground throughout history, and there's a kind of push to try to keep those people out when we're talking power.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think that they're, going back a little bit to what you said, or your analysis about the current political climate that we're in, that like this is a ripe moment for like a Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? And like this is the moment that like he lived and fought for, right? To have intergenerational movement of critical thinkers that are willing to challenge the status quo, right? And so I'm struck a little bit by just the timing of his death. Like, I'm not one to question God, and I'm like, yo, so what you up to, for real, right? Because it really, you could sense and feel this resurgence of resistance, but you also can feel the life of like a Reconstruction era. And so I think, getting to your question, there's a level and a degree of, I think, impatience that is even less tolerable now than what we believe, our ancestors were willing to tolerate, right? But what I'm seeing though is that the desire to push the ground and organize versus let me organize and get my name on the ballot at the same time.
Yeah.
This is where I believe that there's a little bit of it's a little disjointed for me, right? Because as much as, and this is, people who don't always agree with me on this, as much as we recognize and understand the power of the position, our ancestors understood that, but they understood their power from their position, not from the position that they were trying to push. They believed that their power was capable of pushing the power structure to submit and bend to the will of the people. Versus now, there seems this other element where there's I believe, an over sensationalized glorification of politicians. And I'm one of them, right? And it makes me, like, frankly, a little concerned just from an organizing perspective that if the only motivation that this generation has to organize is to be an elected official, then I believe that we may not have our assignment complete. And so, again, I'm not saying that we should not run for office, right? Because I did that. I went up against powerful machines in this city. Just for the record, I've never lost an election. I just want people to know that. While y'all out here like trying to run game, brother hadn't lost, right? So, but with that being said, the reason why I believe that I was in a stronger position to prevail is because I had begun to lay the groundwork in this very community, right? Standing up to powerful structures that were closing down schools, that were laying off workers, right? I was a part of a hunger strike, taking arrests, right? I mean, put real skin in the game and had no real desire, quite frankly, to run for office. It was just one of those things I'll never forget, because Rev was a person who would come up to me, I think you'll appreciate this, when I was out there organizing, he would say, man, Brandon, if you would just get a haircut and get you a good suit, you might just be somebody. So I'm like, so I got a haircut, I got a suit. Right. Oh yeah, sure, of course. So you're seeing a lot more, as we walk down Chicago Avenue, man, this is an avenue that, some community organizers who are, really attached to business, see Chicago Avenue as like the should be the main, corridor for the city of Chicago, is Chicago Avenue. So they're gonna name it, well, they have named it Soul City.
Oh yeah,
so we got some housing development. This is good. We got more small businesses that are coming through, and then these pop-up shops like this.
Oh yeah, I love these like green areas. Oh, is that? I love like green spaces like this. We will talk about it so much, like even when it comes to a community aspect and like a safety thing. I feel like a lot of the things that are missing right now, we talked recently at the Chicago Teachers Union, and what we basically talked about is like, how do we break down these silos? Like it feels like a lot of the last like maybe decade and a half of kind of like austerity politics that privatize, close down like public spaces. We've kind of all been through that, and there's a lot of apathy now. But like, I stress the importance of even little areas like this. Like it's so nice to come outside and like feel like you have a place that you can just stand, chill, maybe play a little basketball. And people don't understand how long a way that goes.
Oh, it's a huge contributor to transformation. In the summertime, I mean, you're gonna see like areas like this all over the city, like literally popping. I mean, we put, $1.25 billion bond investment for economic development and housing in Austin. Just, again, between Chicago Avenue, there's development down Madison. For the first time since the King riots, we've seen like real economic, development. And just for the record, I know we're gonna take a picture, and I mean this with all sincerity. Reverend would have loved y'all. I'm telling you, man. He, like, if he had, the strength when he was going through to be a part of the JAAM, man, he would have loved it. In fact, even though he did not have all of, the functions that he had, when I got a chance to learn from him, he probably would have still come through, man. But I know we're proud of you as a city. I know as you all's, platform becomes bigger than this guy's here.
we got another clap.
We need all of Brother Piker's followers to follow the JAAM. Right? No, he really would have had a great deal of respect and regard for y'all, man, because he believed in like young people being on the ground and like speaking truth to power.
Yeah, we appreciate you for bringing us out here. Like, I feel like it's so important to like highlight sides like this because it destroys the perception of what people think Chicago is. Like people think it's dangerous when it's like, bro, this city is beautiful.
There's dangers in every city, bro. They act as though it's not dangerous in every single city. Like
I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna come out here for the street. She's like, Alan, be careful. I'm like, Ma, it's the mayor.
Me and Hassan were talking about it last time you were out here about how like part of it is also the plot. You don't want everyone to come moving to Chicago.
I feel weird about showing how nice it is. I'm like, no, guys, it's bad. Don't come here.
Well, I mean, I think that's changing, man. And look, we have to tell the truth as well. Like, I'm not gonna act like in 3 years, almost 3 years since I've been mayor, that we have turned everything around. But we have turned the corner, though. Right? And
it's progress that needs to be highlighted.
Exactly.
All right, so we'll do a quick group photo here, and then we're gonna walk towards Laramie. We have about 5 minutes left. Okay. So looking at Rashawn.
Behind the shoes.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's walk towards Laramie.
All right. So how long are you in this? We just say the city. That's how arrogant we are. It's like it's only one. So how long are you in the city?
I'm here for just today. I was here delivering a speech at Northwestern University last night. And then I was so tired. I feel like I didn't do that good of a job, but people seem to like it. But I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed your stay and your time here. Just over on the other side here was more affordable units that we built. You could always see more signs of the Soul City corridor popping up because we want to make sure that just like in any town, you'll have a Chinatown, a Greek town, a Boys town. What's the Soul City corridor in Chicago? And I got to give a shout out to AAA B&A because they see Chicago Avenue as the premier avenue that highlights the beauty of our city.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have some questions for you if you don't mind. Chicago's been historically been run through a close relationship with the city government and major corporate interests. But you came in with a philosophy centered on labor and community investment, as we talked about last time. How is the business community responding to recent developments by City Hall?
Yeah. Well,
I know something about that.
Well, I want to say that, look, we are definitely the global capital of the world. And I believe that business interests and my interest is to make sure that we have safe and affordable communities. What I focus primarily on is, hey, good afternoon. What I focused on primarily is making sure that we are building safe communities because that's good for business. And we have the brand new stadium, Chicago Fire, we're building. On the west side of Chicago, the 1901 project outside of the United Center. That's a multi-billion-dollar project. On the southeast side of Chicago where the steel mills once existed, speaking of labor, no development there in over 30 years. We have Psi Quantum coming out that way, plus a brand new hospital with Advocate Health, $100 million investment. So business recognizes that this is the premier location. The city of Chicago Metro, once again, the top destination for corporate relocation and expansion for 13 years in a row, voted the best big city in America. So business interest recognizes, that this is the place to do it. My simple philosophy is straightforward, that we are open for business, we're just not for sale, right? And so, there are some individuals, of course, that still, don't necessarily jive. What's going on with my philosophy? But it's not gonna change my push, right? To ensure that we're building a safe, affordable city where everybody gets to participate and not just a hand few.
So it's a delicate balance to strike, but Chicago's business elite obviously still has a domineering force on the city's economic power. How are you navigating the roadblocks put up by folks like Michael Sachs, Ken Griffin, Rahm Emanuel? How can we rally the labor unions to engage in more advocacy and even tenants to push back against the corporate focus?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to require. It's going to require working people to make sure that our agenda gets across the finish line. Even with those forces that have animus towards working people, our values are incredibly popular. 80% of the city wanted us to put more of a responsibility on corporations to pay their fair share. But the corporate interests, of course, got into the heads of a couple of alders, that stopped us from moving one particular aspect, of our agenda. But the vast majority of that agenda was still able to materialize. I'm pushing for a millionaire's tax. We're organizing in Springfield to push that through. So it's not that our agenda doesn't have merit. Like, our agenda is very popular. It's going to require labor, the civil rights organizations, labor organizations, all of those organizations are going to come together to make sure that we're pushing our collective agenda.
All right. Okay. I have a little bit more of a tough question. Since we last talked, the Foundry Park development was approved by City Council.
Yep.
You mentioned you wanted to bring affordable housing to all of the neighborhoods, including Lincoln Park, where this is being developed. It sounds like it's going to bring 1,000 new homes, including a handful of designated affordable units, but the developer seems inclined to make a payment of $7 million to the city instead of building the 42 affordable units. How do these kinds of deals where developers pay their way out of actually building the housing units change the dynamic of actually building affordable housing, and how does that change the way you think about it?
Well, it's not going to change the way I think about it. We're continue to push, the developers to make sure that at least 30% of the units are affordable. We know that there are loopholes, of course, that they try to draw on. We're repurposing downtown office spaces into affordable housing, right? So of the 1,100 new spaces that are being converted into housing, 30% of them will be affordable. So that drive is going to continue. We do know that there will be some that will try to push their way through that responsibility, but I'm on pace now to build 10,000 affordable units by the end of my first term, and we're going to keep pressing.
How do you feel like the affordable housing development reinvigorates the economy? If you had a message for some that would say, oh, this is going to bring poorer people, like mixed income people into this neighborhood, change the dynamic of the neighborhood, because that's like one of the common points of criticism against affordable housing development. How would you go about identifying those issues and explain to people that it's not an issue at all?
Well, I think the first thing is to highlight that many of the new development, these developers have committed to building, and to creating affordable units as a result of these investments. But also, I just want to lift up the fact that whether it's through our missing middle, where we have owner-occupied housing, right, where people are living on one level and renting the other levels, to make sure that we're building long-term sustainable generational wealth. The message is that it benefits all of us. To ensure that our economy remains diverse, you have to have working class people in here who are going to send their kids to the public schools, who are going to rely upon the public transportation system, who are going to shop at the local businesses. It works for everyone.
Yeah. So last month you signed an executive order calling on police to investigate federal agents accused of misconduct after ICE wreaked havoc on Chicago. How has the ICE situation evolved after the last few weeks, and has there been any accountability for the damage ICE has done so far?
Well, I mean, there certainly has to be accountability. That's why I signed the executive order in the first place. Yeah. Because as you know, we're living in unprecedented times, and we do not have a clear pathway, from the federal government to ensure that there's accountability. right now people have the ability to push for accountability. That's what the executive order was designed to do. I mean, look, here's the bottom line. We know that the Trump administration has been incredibly reckless. The damage and the havoc that they've caused in cities across America. The city of Chicago has led the way with our executive orders. In fact, I believe about 30 million people are currently living under our executive orders right now around the country. But the evidence that is collected in cases that where brutality took place, we want to make sure that that gets to the state's attorney so that the state's attorney can decide if they want to pursue as well as prosecute.
Last question. All right, last question. This one will be about Zoran. It's a double question.
All right.
Last time we were together, we didn't really get to talk too much about Zoran. Have you been in contact? And is it feasible to share notes between Chicago and Memdanistan, given the differences in the cities and the respective political spheres?
Yeah, well, we had a text exchange a couple of weeks ago. Right now, we are in the process of we're forming sort of a mayor's coalition, much like district and state's attorneys have formed to fight back against federal overreach. He expressed a desire and a commitment to work with the city of Chicago, Boston. We have Seattle on board. We have Oakland, Mayor Lee, Mayor Bass, and Los Angeles as well. So, now that, the services for Reverend Jackson have passed, we're going to begin to have some more meetings around what type of ideas, to your point about sharing notes, that's working in Chicago or in other cities like New York, that we can share those ideas, and then we can actually move them simultaneously versus in silo.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one was there's a concept like sister cities. I don't know how much the mayor gets to have a say in that process. Does Chicago have a sister city? Have you thought about like expanding Chicago's international reach as a global capital, and maybe highlight a community elsewhere, whether it be in the past something the governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, did was opening up like trade routes with Cuba against the blockade. Has this come to your attention at all? Is this something you're interested in?
Well, we have a long history of sister cities. I'm definitely working to expand them, including sister cities on the continent of Africa. Look, we have to grow our collective response to one another. I was sharing a couple of days ago at Reverend Jackson's service as we commemorate the Bloody Sunday, right? And that bridge was a symbol of the cross, and it connected our collective suffering. Right now, I believe that bridge today can be described as borders, where borders essentially people are determining whether or not someone's humanity and dignity should be realized based upon what side of the border they live on. And we want to break that down. And so as we lean on Reverend Jackson's example of crossing the bridge in spite of the hatred that was on the other side of it, we have to be able to cross these borders and challenge the hatred of all forms of hate. So we're looking at definitely expanding sister cities and making sure that the city of Chicago remains as a main footprint as the global capital of the world.
All right,
right on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. Man, appreciate you understanding the uniform. Appreciate it. Up and down. We just got one more step to make. Next time in the city, we got you. You got shoe game. And again, man, I want to thank you, man, for making room for all these brothers here.
Thank you guys for having us as well. Like we continue to watch, and we're excited to see how this project gets built out when it's connecting us globally and kind of standing again. It's really weird. Like we find ourselves at this point in time where, as fashion is on the rise, like you don't have many people who are able to build coalition like this. So taking the platform, taking everything, making stuff like this happen is the most important thing. So we're gonna keep that working. We're gonna keep watching.
All right, what's up? Chicago, baby.
Any way that you can stop the Chicago Bears from going to Hammond?
Oh yeah, that's a major question.
So this is what I love, man, about our movement. It's like we want to make sure there's health care for all and Bears games on the lakefront and everything else in between. Listen, I have not given up on that yet, man. There's still no better place in the country, in the state of Illinois, for the Bears to play than the lakefront. In fact, that entire footprint, that's the #1 tourist destination anywhere in the state of Illinois, man. So I have not given up on that. We're gonna keep fighting, man, because you got to keep the Bears in Chicago.
If they know what's good for them, they'll stay right
That's
here.
right.
You got
Right
the
on,
infrastructure,
man.
everything.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yep, right on, man. Listen, man, one day, man, I'm gonna give me a leather jacket too.
Appreciate you, man. Yes, sir.
You said, when's your birthday?
March 27th. Y'all make sure. Yeah, make sure they get it. All right.
Okay,
That's cool.
cool.
All right.
Good seeing you,
man. Yep. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks for coming by the Chicago, man. Good seeing you, bro.
My boy.
Seeing you.
We gotta come out to Cali soon.
I know.
Bro. Oh my gosh.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the travelers, so as soon as we get up, we gonna go out there.
And keep your head too, bro. We be seeing it. Like, they be on your head. I'm like, give him a break.
I'm like,
every week I see his name is something.
You know what it is though? It's because a lot of people feel the heat.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
starting to heat up, man.
Because like, I talk to people all the time. I talk to people out when I go to protests and whatnot, and they're all like, they're rudderless, but they're angry, you know, and they're looking for an alternative. Yeah. And I think many of them are coming to that conclusion on their own that like the politics that I represent, politics not dissimilar to Reverend Jesse Jackson, that is actually what has been lost in the discourse. But now that now the contradictions are worsening and people are coming to like seek out alternatives on their own, like they find themselves listening to people like myself more and more. So those in positions of power, obviously on the Republican side, they're fucking haters, right? Like they're reactionary, they're awful, they're monsters, they're racist. But even on the Democratic Party side, I see so many people losing their grip of power and reacting with this frustration because they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go of their seat of power. They don't want to. They don't want to
let go of what they think is normal.
They don't want to. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to lean into it either. Like, because there's something you can do in that situation. You can just give the people what they fucking want.
But that requires.
Well,
Sexy as hell. Appreciate you.
Hey, nice to meet you, man. Thank you. It's good, right?
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you so much, bro.
Hey, appreciate it.
Until next time.
Yes, sir.
Until next time. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate all of you. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good one, guys. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. Oh, you want to take a photo? Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, no, I feel it though, because I feel about how much it's
actually.
Yeah.
I was a Bernie Sanders senior, so this was
Hell yeah.
Jenny, big fan.
That's the selfless aspect.
All right, what's the move?
We're waiting for the Uber.
Okay.
It's gonna be 10 minutes. Yeah, I called it. What's up, man?
I'm a fan. I've been watching you since you had that studio apartment. I wanted to give you that. You like Jujutsu Kaisen, right?
I do.
Yeah, I just won that today at an arcade, so.
Oh wow,
spent like
thank
$50.
You want to take a photo?
Yeah, sure.
You gotta hold it.
You don't need to get this. You can keep it. It's just, okay.
I don't like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, you don't like Jujutsu Kaisen? All right.
That's what's his face in Jujutsu Kaisen? You don't like
Salmon. It's all right.
It's
good. It's just not for me. It's just not for me.
So what's your one? Like, what's your favorite one then?
I can't say it. I'll be a degenerate. No, it's the Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I've watched that when I was like in high school.
That's not degenerate. That's fine. Bro,
it depends though.
This one's he's such a dweeb though because he's got like an asthma inhaler. That's his like.
Oh yeah.
Because he has to fix his voice. Yeah.
Keep up the good work. I really appreciate you. I've been watching you I think 6 years.
Hell yeah. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
But yeah, that's
on the west side.
That's the reason why they're chirping. Wait, so is this normally the area that people call South Side? Like outside
it's the
Chicago?
west side.
It's west side.
Yeah, so South Side is more where we came
like
from.
South
That's
Shore.
more- But he came from Austin and out here West Side. Even Josh Doss came out from West Side too.
Yeah.
So like, it's nice community over here. I really like rock with y'all coming and just getting to like chill because I mean it is Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's always chill, but also like embodying that spirit of kind of pushing those politics forward. Like I see it, and it's weird because as I'm paying attention to like the elections here, you see just how many candidates, like they all Democrat, you see how many are bought out, how many are corrupt, how many XYZ.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is now, it's a flashpoint. You know, the generations are here, we're kind of ready to have our say. So it's like, it's either you get out the way or you join in and get the people what they want.
Yeah, bro. It's so fire because to have that conversation, you got to come to places like this, like on the ground.
Yeah.
Really show people.
For real.
You can go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead, man.
But nah, that's like, that's what.
Yeah, count.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He said he wanted to say something. That's why.
He did.
Yeah,
he wanted to say something. Brandon Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I got my paperwork right here.
They did give you the paperwork. I sent that.
No, I got my paperwork right here. I'm trying to get away.
Yeah. That's how much. Please, because I hear so much. Yeah, I hear so many news stories like all the times about how much like CPD got to shovel out for settlements when it comes to that harassment and assaulting people.
I don't want to point the camera at strangers chat. That's why I'm not.
Shit, they almost hit us with their car.
Yeah. Okay. We're about to get picked up.
Where you off to after this?
Just back to the hotel to keep covering the news.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of all the stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, so you still be live when you go back?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm about to like find a way to start live streaming, man. There's so much news,
so
especially
much
coming
shit.
out.
He does it already.
Yeah, no, he be going every single night.
I gotta make a clip when I get back because we were talking about Iran and we were talking about the escalations. I was literally telling him yesterday how the U.S. is escalating like the fight in that regard, and then I refreshed the page like Instagram, and then that was when the bomb threat came through on the bomb threat, not for John, it was for the plane.
Oh, the Southwest.
The Southwest plane, and I was like, bro, it's like we're gonna see a lot more of that, bro, because Iran is, especially because Trump and them are trying to portray it as like they giving up, they surrendering it, bro. Iran is not going for none of that,
but
bro.
the thing is, this is what you should be on the lookout for. So like, what will probably happen is now the FBI is not collaborating, apparently, according to some sources, with the local law enforcement on like terror threats, like pushing for terror threats. Because I do feel like there is not a lot of appetite for this right now.
Yeah.
Because most people are like, "What the fuck are we going to war?
Especially all the shit that's happening now.
Yeah, and it's like, and obviously the MAGA base is like 85% on board because they're fucking cattle. But
Colt.
Yeah.
Same niggas that was like, no new wars.
Yeah. They very quickly, bro, right before Iran was bombed, they were polling them, and they were at like 30%.
Because they're like,
terrifying how fast they will shit.
And then one day after, immediately 55%. 2 days after, 65%. Right now, it's at 85% support in the Republican base.
That's ridiculous.
That's why
just bending over.
That's why, and the word is, anybody who's saying that we should be siphoning off Republican votes as an election strategy is an unserious human being. 85% support.
You can't get those guys. I mean, you can get those guys by just being like, look, man.
Yeah, like
you know, all this stuff is crazy, but like, do you want healthcare or not? Like,
that's like,
you know what I mean? There is no like, oh, I'm gonna bring Liz Cheney on to the fucking main stage, and we're just gonna be like 35% less racist than they are.
Even with Gavin, I'm like, gang, if you hoping to get that constituency, that's like, they gonna go for Republican anyway.
All you do is teach your guys, like your centrist base, your Democratic base, that like there's legitimacy in the argument that the opposition is making.
When
literally
there is none.
No, none.
We were at the teachers union. Shout out, bro. But we was at the teachers union, and the dude was like, a heckler basically came. It was our first live show. Heckler came up and was like, y'all shouldn't mention neoliberalism because we supposed to be working together with everybody. See, y'all be using them terms and segregating people. And then we're like,
and then after the show, he went up to us and he was like, I don't even identify as black.
Yeah, he was like, I don't even identify as black.
So,
I
wasn't sure where bro's political affiliation was.
It was so funny because Josh was about to move on. And I was like, nah, we gotta say something about this. So I was like,
I don't identify as black is crazy.
Crazy.
Because it's like, it doesn't matter. The person with the gun, the police officer identifies.
You think they gonna be like, he not black.
He a human, man. But the broader point that he was bringing up, and it was priceless to me, the broader point he was bringing up, he was like, y'all, because he said like the Nazis are at the door. You're trying to find common ground with people who are like Nazis, and he's like, and he goes, well, you know how the Nazis came about? It's because they was labeling. they was labeling, and I was like, I said the word neoliberal. That's how the Nazis have it. Are you sure?
You know what the Nazis was doing? Like, that's why we have labels.
Fuck the concentration camps and shit. They was labeling, gang.
Who could forget Adolf Hitler when he wrote in My Struggle? He was like, they kept calling me a Nazi, so I became one.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
It's like, no, but what it does do is really how it came about is when you suppress the conversations you need to have about the real political matters, that's how you let people come in and scapegoat brown people for it. That's how you get the Nazis. So I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, because when you play the middle, you get comfortable. It takes the blame away from the people that's actually causing damage.
You can't, when you play middle with the people who was no war 1 second ago, now they 85% war, that's just the right. That's not the crazy. That's just the right.
I'm not saying like don't talk to those guys.
Of course.
I think there's people that do a really good job of like communicating with those guys.
Yeah.
But they don't give ground on like trans issues, for example. They don't give ground on like social policy at all.
Yeah.
Because it's utterly immaterial in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
You're never gonna win that argument anyway. If a guy has like made up their mind that they're gonna be racist, they're homophobic or transphobic, you're never gonna like win them over by being like, okay, we're gonna be more reasonable in our transphobia. More reasonable in our homophobia. Just distract them.
Yeah. What did he say? What did Gavin say?
You talking about?
He was like, what? No, I'm trying to think of his exact words. What was
it? He said we need to be culturally normal.
He was like, we gotta stop the pronouns. He criticized himself for being far out ahead on gay marriage.
Yeah,
what do you mean you're too early on gay marriage? That's a fundamental.
No, he was though. He was when he was mayor. He like put himself out there as like the mayor that defended gay marriage.
He was for universal health care too.
Yeah, which is crazy because that gave him so much prestige.
Yes.
Like he leaned into that for years and years, and now he's like, now that I want to be president, you know, maybe we shouldn't let these fucking gays get married.
Like that's crazy.
I don't think it's. I genuinely, and we were just talking about. I don't understand the rationale behind understanding that only in the entire general election, it's like 130 million people, but on both sides, right, between Republican votes and Democratic votes, like 130 million people. Why? There's 400 million people in this country. Why the hell are we trying to like?
The plurality doesn't vote.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, literally.
And sure, like the electoral college plays a role in that too. But like the reason why most people that could go out and vote, that could potentially swing votes in favor of one party over the other, they just don't see like a significant policy disagreement that changes their life, or even if they see the marginal differences, they're like, this is not, like they're not gonna push for it.
Yeah,
my life's gonna suck anyway.
Yeah.
And when you see the uniparty principle on things like Israel, on things like endless war, endless militarism, no free healthcare, no money for education, only money for bombs. Like when people see that, no matter how stupid we consider the average person to be, they are kind of woke on that shit. They see it. They're like, okay, what am I supposed to do?
Y'all bullshit. It's theater.
Literally, it's theater.
I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work every morning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, this is not gonna change my life. I'm not going out to vote. And people get real mad about that. They're like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You're engaging in
how people was mad at you. I'm not voting for Gavin.
You're doing voter apathy. I'm like, no, I'm trying to fucking light a fire under the asses. Of people, because I understand where that voter apathy comes from.
I'm gonna say, I'll tell you, that's the number one driver of voter apathy. Is that
they take a while to get out here for sure.
Yeah, traffic.
This is a minute.
Y'all got a minute, we got 12. Damn. That's that traffic.
I'm about to go right in this beverage.
I'm about to go to that food truck.
I'm gonna get that Baskin Robbins.
About to light this blunt.
He said Baskin Robbins.
They go get some ice cream, boy.
I haven't been a Baskin in a minute.
Hey, hope you enjoyed it though.
Chicago,
you gotta come out here in Cheyenne, man.
Cheyenne, man. Coming to summer. It's so dope.
See the water.
Yeah, this is our first warm week in like a couple months. So when it get hot,
65.
When it get high, it get crazy out
here. And they're gonna drop right back down to 42.
Cause I swear we had one hot day and then it started snowing. Shit don't make no sense.
Midwest.
It was dope though. We appreciate the invite as well from all of y'all.
We appreciate y'all coming through.
I love that the mayor fucks with you guys heavy.
Bro, it is so crazy.
It's so crazy.
So much love.
He doesn't fuck with me. He's like, oh, the JAAM boy's gonna be there?
He judged your shoes and shit.
I'm like, damn, he's on your ass. He a real Chicago nigga for sure. For real. That's funny as hell. But nah, yeah. But yeah, nah, it's really unique getting the opportunity to kind of like, you know, be a part of the conversation. Hope try to inspire some people. And the fact that him and Edmund rock with us, I'm like, all right, bro, that's a year right there. That's
and then
cool.
and then they also rock with you enough to even have you here.
Have you here? Yeah,
of course.
Let's go. My car's over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Alright, bye guys. See you, man.
Which one is it?
It's the Chevy.
Bye.
Okay. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
701. No. Right?
No, 8. Oh. That's fine.
8012.
7812.
7812.
Oh, this is a pin.
Yeah.
And the Langham, right?
No. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna be in here for a minute. Like 20, 30 minutes. Okay. 20, 30 minutes. All right, chat. How did you guys like that interview? Was that good? Did you appreciate it? Was that enlightening?
All right, fire up the reacts.
All right, I'm gonna do that in a second. I'm gonna fire up the reacts. All right. Did we like it? Loved it.
I think they were vibing.
That was good. That was good. I forget that when you're the mayor, you have a limited amount of time to like chop it up. You know, I was thinking we just like sit down, and that was crazy. There was like police everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it. I purposely was body blocking the mayor. I put myself in between.
Right.
No, I did. I was thinking like, you know, if someone's gonna open up, I'd rather take the bullet than the mayor, you know?
That's so kind of you. Wow.
Yeah, W Security. Quite possibly the best interview in the history of mankind.
Oh.
Nice. Okay, maybe a little bit glazed right there. Also, he's in a tough election, so limited on what he can say. I know. He's also under fire right now. The ADL wants to do a freaking Mayor Mamdani Watch style situation for him too. Unbearable. This is partially what I'm talking about when I say like we need to stop. Like we as a society need to stop caring about these institutions that are very clearly working at the behest of a foreign nation. It's just frustrating. No more super PACs. Move phone from mic? What do you mean? The phone is not near the microphone. Or what are you talking about? Dead toll up to 7 with like 12 more varying injuries? Yeah, last night. I forgot to mention that. Last night we saw an NYPD officer that had a medical incident. He passed away due to a medical incident in Kuwait, which is crazy, and calls into question. It's something that I was talking about before, where I think they're gonna try to actively chop up and hide the true casualty numbers.
That could have been anything.
A medical incident in Kuwait? Come on, bro.
Could happen to anybody.
Anyway. We gotta send Asmongold to the front lines, man. I think we gotta send him to the front lines. Like, look at this.
Israel
Asmongold.
and America bombed a school. So I was going nuts about a school getting bombed. Oh, a school got bombed? Yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, again, any time that I hear somebody trying to cry and get upset about, like, oh my God, Israel and America bombed a school, Iran killed thousands of their.
We gotta send his ass to the front lines, bro. That's it. You talk like this about a school getting bombed with our tax dollars. You're not pissed off about that. You go. Let's send you, instead of bombs, let's send Asmongold.
People, and nobody was really talking about that at all. So yeah, I mean, if a school gets bombed,
Nobody was talking about the Iranian protest. Okay.
kids get killed, it's sad. It's obviously a tragedy, but it's collateral damage in a war, and it's inevitable, number one. And number two, you know, if they didn't want that to happen, maybe they shouldn't have been funding terror groups and antagonizing a world superpower like America. Like, if
this is the problem that he runs into when he's like so Reddit and so incredibly embedded in the like Nick Fuentes circles that he doesn't know how to like communicate this kind of stuff, because this is vulgarity beyond what Donald Trump has even demonstrated, right? Like even Trump wouldn't go this far, right? Like the energy is there. The energy that Trump represents is also this exact same thing, where it's like, sucks to suck, tough titties shouldn't have pissed me off. I have the power to fucking nuke your country if I want to. But he doesn't know how to dance around these issues. He doesn't know how to like communicate on these issues well enough. So he just says the most honest thing that comes to his mind. And that's why he comes across like a fucking psychopath. An absolute fucking psychopath, which he is, obviously. I mean, it's just so nasty, it's so stupid, it's so vulgar. You're just like a bad person. And you think that being a bad person is getting you clout for the time being. But I don't think people will forget. I don't think people will forget how you spoke about these issues. No accountability? I mean, yeah, I don't think Twitch is gonna offer any accountability yet. Just wait for the fucking midterms to come around. If the Democrats actually start winning again, all these other corporate entities that previously were terrified of like a Trump administration reaction, if the midterms happen at all, will turn around and start taking action. I mean, his talent agency decided to no longer work with him. He co-founded this talent agency, and that's, you know, it's one step. But he said it's valid to kill medics. Yeah, he's disgusting. He's a disgusting monster. And I think that there are a lot of people that want that monstrous commentary. We talk about people radicalizing and coming to my side on these issues, coming to our side on these issues, people realizing that, you know, that anti-imperialism is the correct path forward. But then there are also plenty of people that see the vulgar ways in which Donald Trump talks about imperialism and go, yeah, you know, I kind of like this. I actually like it. It's the dynamic between people being able to say the N-word openly, right? Like, some will say, oh, it's good that they're saying the slur because now we know their position. It's very clear, right? But I always warn you that politeness, that veneer, also causes people to not feel comfortable enough to express desire such as that, right? That social nicety also plays a role in the way that we organize. The social nicety also plays, those social rules also play a major role in the way that we the way that we approach subjects like race, or in this circumstance, subjects like war and death and destruction, and the unlimited appetite that America has for murder. Caroline Livet said Trump might institute a draft. These freaks won't stop. Oh, I will say, while the draft is devastating and it will be mostly poor Americans that suffer as a consequence of that, I think the draft would make this stop much faster. The draft would force the hand of every American to all of a sudden realize that they do have a stake here. It's not just when their burgers are more expensive or gas is more expensive. All of a sudden you have a real role that you're playing in this. You have you're putting your body on the line, and I think that was part of the reason why people were much more aggressive in Vietnam in their anti-war movement, and that politics was far more radical back then than it is now. I will say, like, the poverty draft function, like military as a profession, has kind of created this really damaging environment for the third world, to the countries that we dominate, and that damage is over there. We have this total separation from the death and destruction that we cause, and even like the people that go there and they get fucked up and then they come back, and 22 veterans a day are killing themselves and whatnot, like even all of that stuff is kind of brushed under the rug. You can't really do that if you have a draft. That becomes very real for every single American under the age of 35. All of a sudden they're like,
I'll serve crack before I serve this country.
yeah, I mean, you can do a conscientious objection and go to prison potentially. But yeah. Grabbing voting records to only draft them voters. I think if they kick-started the draft, people would radicalize very quickly when all of a sudden they have to go and fight. Oh my God, we're gonna forcibly conscript you to fight for Israel? That's a fucking argument you're gonna make to goddamn Americans in the heartland? Are you fucking kidding me?
Send Barron.
You think, dude, white Americans will do 9/11s every weekend if that's the case, okay? They will literally, I can't even comprehend what a future like that would look like, because like, we're not even talking about Vietnam era now, we're talking about like literally, we are talking about a country that's already unstable, a country that's very polarized, a country that's very frustrated, a country where material conditions have diminished. You're gonna tell a fucking rudderless guy living in a town with like a dead-end job that has no other options, now he has to go and die for Israel in Iran? Fuck no, he's not gonna do that shit at all. Send Barron.
Send Barron.
Yeah, we're doing a draft, and every senator's child has to go to war. Yeah, that's the only draft I'm for, okay? Put those who stand to gain the most in the front lines, all the kids of the Goldman Sachs executives, all the kids of, and the Goldman Sachs executives themselves, BlackRock, put those motherfuckers on the front line. It works in Russia. People don't understand. Yes, Russia is a hyper-nationalist country that has is still licking their wounds of the dissolution and the illegal dissolution of the USSR. Russia used to be a fucking economic powerhouse. There's no comparison between the United States of America and Russia. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a galvanizing principle for many right-wing Russians in general. That's ultra-nationalism that already existed in Russia. That's like, it's perfect grounds for the disillusioned masses to focus singularly on a goal, an irredentist goal, an irredentist agenda, that is entirely different than the United States of America. Americans are far more comfortable. They've never had that same like foreign wound, with the one exception of 9/11, I guess, and maybe Pearl Harbor, where it would be, there's no comparison to like the nationalistic fervor in Russia to the United States of America when you're telling them you have to go invade Iran, you know, thousands of miles away because Israel said so, and they're not sending any of their fucking troops, you know? It's just you're sending your troops. Are you fucking kidding me? No shot. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I understand your statement when you say, well, you know, Russians are very right-wing on the Ukraine stuff, like many of them are going and joining, and they have similar deteriorating material conditions. But reactionary sentiment and ultra-nationalist feeling in Russia is a far bigger motivator for Russians that in their not so distant past used to be this incredibly powerful nation. This is like this is for them it's galvanizing because it makes them feel like they're seizing that power once again. It's part of the reason why, you know, Putler is adamant about seizing Ukrainian territory too. Like, aside from the national security concerns that they might have, national security concerns that, you know, Putler might have. Putler, I love saying that. There is a very real, like, wound. So what about the farmers that really aren't farmers anymore, just farming landlords? Do they still avoid conscription? Fucking send them too. Update of Leave It, talking about the draft.
Play it. Live reactivity.
And the president had an interesting exchange on Air Force One over the weekend, Carol. I want to get your take about this idea of troops on the ground. Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be, and President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot of politicians like to do that quickly, but the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table. But as commander-in-chief, there's no greater priority or responsibility to this president than, of course, protecting the American people and protecting our troops and our bases in the Middle East, which Iran has been threatening for 47 years. They have killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers.
It's not true.
And President Trump was not going to allow Iran to...
Like, when they say Iran has killed and maimed thousands of American soldiers, this is the new meta. I mean, everything is a lie, obviously. Lying is OP. There's no way to combat it, really. And no one, especially no one on the Maria Bartiromo show, is going to combat the lies coming from this administration. But, like, that's been a fascinating development in American propaganda, where they just have decided that every Al-Qaeda, every Taliban, every ISIS death is actually still Iran. It's fantastic. It reminds me... Yeah.
How is she 28?
Now, when she says, like, Iran has been responsible for deaths, it's true. It's just they've been responsible for deaths in this bombing campaign, because ever since America and Israel started bombing Iran, Iran started bombing back. And that's when they killed a bunch of American troops. So it's crazy. It reminds me of what they did with the fentanyl deaths, where Trump was like, oh, all the immigrants are responsible for, you know, tens of millions of Americans dying. And they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, well, they did fentanyl. Immigrants did fentanyl. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, that's not how that works at all. It's overwhelmingly American citizens that are trafficking fentanyl from regular points of entry into into the United States of America. So no, you're fucking stupid and you're wrong. I mean, he knows he's lying. But yeah, it is crazy that she's only 28 and she looks like that. A million Pablo Escobars at the border. There was the Beirut bombing. That's a separate thing. It is. Yeah, that wasn't Iran. That was Hezbollah, and it was literally once again triggered by American military action. Yeah, she's 28. Yeah, evil ages you. Her husband is also like 60.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she's just trying to look age appropriate for her boo, right?
Normal age gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of those instances where I think like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not gonna sit here and act as though her husband groomed her or something. You know, she knows what she's doing with that decision. I have no respect for her. Yeah, she grooming him. Someone said maybe he just lay pipe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what it is.
Chicago really is so beautiful.
Hate ages you, man. Don't do it. Don't do it, not even once. Looking?
We're looking.
I don't know.
Just showing them the pretty sights there are to see.
Jeff Bezos has started to follow Hamas atrocities. Weird timing. What the fuck? Big tech alert. Jeff Bezos has started following Hamas atrocities. Oh, brother. Powered by Kalashi. Everything sucks. Yeah, Hamas atrocities is someone underneath is a Hassan Piker Twitch ban incoming. I'm cooked, I guess. Time to go to YouTube. Anyway. Grand Ayatollah Sistani has broken his silence. He has issued a fatwa decreeing that the defense of Iran in this war and attempts to sow chaos and divide the country and topple the Islamic Republic is a religious obligation. Sistani has been at odds with the Islamic Republic for some time. Now he has thrown his full weight behind the resistance, and at a time when a new supreme leader is about to be announced. This is the most influential Shiite cleric, Grand Ayatollah Sistani, who resides in Iraq, has issued a fatwa on the Iran war. I think Sistani's the one that the Pope met, right? The former Pope. There's like a really funny picture. What picture? Please update podcast, Hassan?
What?
I don't know what the fuck this person...
Sorry, I just seen appropriate. Just trying to lighten the mood a little.
They loved it, bro. They loved it.
I'm a man of the people. What can I say?
Okay, child, my husband said my Hasanabi scream time is up on International Women's Day. Ugh, I have to go, people. Bye. It's International Women's Day. You can watch as much as you want. Queen. Don't listen to him.
Shout out to women, man.
Shout out women. Oh, here it is. You found the photo. Pope meets Iraq Shia leader al-Sistani. You see?
That'd be one of my favorite genders. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good one. Out of all the genders, I'd say this is a pretty good one. It's a pretty solid one. Shout out women. W women. First warm day here. Think I'll go check out my canot and get some sun.
Nice.
Israel's attack on the 30 oil depots was not backed by the USA. Oh my lord. First of all, I have a hard time believing that. But Axios, I assume Barak 82 Unit 8200 Ravid wrote this. Israel strikes on 30 Iranian fuel depots Saturday went far beyond what the U.S. expected when Israel notified it in advance, sparking the first significant disagreement between the allies since the war began 8 days ago, according to a U.S. official, Israeli official, and a source with U.S. knowledge. I'm gonna flip it to the other, because we're almost there. So I'm gonna flip it to my desktop. Let's see.
Something playing.
Yes, I hope something is still playing.
Yeah.
Oh, he put the ENFJ. Oh, that's
And then if you scroll up, it's interesting because he gives context on the photos that we didn't need.
Is he gay?
No.
Oh.
Can you zoom in? I can't read.
He said, like the dog, bio could be better. He says, I'm single, live alone in a gorgeous home in Silver Lake. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to see it someday, winky face.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I see that. I'm like, I'm trying to fuck this guy.
It says, nice fit, mask is fun, great view. Was a photo shoot with Ariel for our dating profiles at a school fundraiser. But nobody needs to know that, which is really weird because Ariel's his ex. Love this one. I tried kite surfing in Greece this summer. A little goofy, shows something extreme. He gives it a 6 out of 10.
No.
Hulk costume Halloween 2022. When I was in treatment, stress, anxiety, depression, had my weight down to 155, which is way too low. 170 is better, but my abs look defined and I'm painted green.
Not the 4-year-old picture.
Yeah, hot tub, mountain man, I don't know. Probably should delete this one, but the sunset was nice.
Not the Austin Powers chest hair.
Yeah.
Girl, baby, very good.
This one's nuts and way too costly from the Eras tour, but the beard was strong and whatever. I'm a single dad on a dating app out here living my life. 2024.
Oh, he had kids?
Wedding ring. He's wearing a wedding ring. But hey.
He had kids?
It's Feldco. Half the people are poly.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Follow me
She
for
did.
more Divorce Dad Unhinged energy or whatever.
Oh,
or
she did?
unfollow me. I don't care. Hope this gave you a laugh. I want to know who the Ned writers are, like right now. Can we look at the replies a little bit? Like, is there anyone
No,
in there
I
that's
don't think
like,
there's anyone nice.
keep going, Ned? Like, who are the people that liked the post that were like,
No, Hassan, you have to understand, Ned is not sufficiently right-wing enough to have that type of audience.
true? Oh my God, you're so right. Why didn't he pivot?
Yeah, if he would been a right-winger and he would have pivoted and grifted to the right, he would have a fucking huge opportunity to
They're so stupid.
Yeah,
They're so
they love cheating men.
So
as long as it's at the expense of women, Republicans will go.
That's true.
How did this make you feel? How do you want to resolve this topic?
I don't know. He posted, there's a power in not giving a fuck. Do I wish my kinky dating profile had not been leaked? Yes, of course. Given it was, am I grateful I can now just be myself? Yes, absolutely.
Wasn't he just being himself anyway before the profile leaked, though? So it kind of feels like he is giving a fuck.
Well, look, I think at this point, this guy is just, it's too far gone. He clearly has no idea how to manage a crisis.
What would you do in that situation?
You just, first of all, you don't fucking cheat to begin with. And if you're going to do it,
do it in private. I think you're supposed to do it in public, is what I gathered.
First of all, this is what you do. You go to your wife and you say, wife,
can I cheat?
No, you don't ask her for permission. You just say, look, if you're going to cheat, end the marriage. If you're not
You
happy,
say, can we spice things up?
Yeah.
And if she says no, say, uh-oh, I'm
cheating
missing
is never
that.
the answer.
Yeah.
Communication is key. All right? Don't cheat at all.
Right.
And by the way, I just want to make everybody clear. I am firmly against cheating.
Brave.
Firmly. Here at the Fear Ad Podcast, I and my fellow co-hosts are firmly against cheating. And we do not take our advice to those who cheat poorly as a
What? We don't take our advice to cheat. We told him not to cheat.
don't cheat. But I'm just saying, don't do it. But like, how fucking stupid to do it in public.
Especially in public. I mean? Yeah, right.
Especially in public. Right.
Yeah. So
anyway,
I guess my takeaway is, how would you handle your kinky sub dommy mommy looking for a bratty sub
Pivot right.
dating profile be leaked?
Yeah.
Pivot right wing.
Pivot to the right.
You'd pivot right wing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that's how I do it too. Yeah, I'd pivot to the right.
Good to know.
Yeah,
All right, that was a 2-minute fun time for you guys. But we're back. And I am Okay, we're gonna use the dog shit audio and the dog shit camera for a second while I literally have to update my fucking Roadcaster. Wonderful timing for the Roadcaster to like.
You want some treats?
Not right now. Fantastic timing for the Roadcaster to just like decide not to fucking work. Isn't that cool? Dad is mad? No, I know that you know, shit's always gonna break. Xbox mic time? Is it really bad? Is it that bad?
It's not
Don't unplug anything.
I'm just adjusting the camera so when it comes back, it's actually right.
Bro, getting angry too easily. It's just disappointing. We have this we have production issues all the time for no reason.
We're doing it live.
You missed the mayor. Hold on. All right, we'll just do this. Wait, oops.
This app does suck.
Yeah, I'll take it though, because the app sucks. But the thing is, sure, the app sucks, but
U.S. Military Central Command has confirmed that a 7th U.S. service member has been killed in action during operations against Iran. Let's cross to Washington, D.C. Heidi Jo Castro standing by for us there. So, Heidi, what more do we know about this latest development?
Well, according to U.S. Central Command, this 7th U.S. service person was injured initially on March 1st. That was the day after the U.S. launched its airstrikes against Iran. And the service person was wounded in the strikes in Saudi Arabia targeting U.S. troops. Now, reporting at the time showed that that was when Iranian missiles and drones targeted the Prince Sultan Air Base, and what appears to be a communications building was destroyed in that attack. This is just emphasizing that although the number of U.S. fatalities from military members is at 7 now with this latest update, there are still about a dozen who were seriously injured in these retaliatory strikes that Iran has waged. And just yesterday, President Donald Trump received the bodies of the first 6 who were killed in Kuwait, also on March 1st. And so as this conflict ramps up, we are seeing the increase of U.S. casualties. This is something that the U.S. public has been very adamant that they do not want to see, and potentially quite damaging to Trump as he continues to wage this war against Iran.
by the way, I don't personally give a shit about policy or process, but him wearing a hat here is insane. Like, for the people that do care about that shit, I can't explain to you how psychotic it is that as a civilian, he was wearing a USA Trump merchandise hat, bro. Like, if Barack Obama did this, they would kill him. The amount of shit you can get away with being white and being a Republican is unlimited. Donald Trump could literally wipe his ass and put dookie stains. Okay, now it's good. It's initializing. Hello, hello, hello. It's still not picking up though. I don't know why. Look, see, it's not picking up any audio. I'm gonna turn it off. and then turn it on again.
See if the see if we can get camera pass through. I'm gonna have to reset that source. Deactivate and reactivate. There you go.
Oh yeah, camera's working. Oh yeah, wait. There's a brief moment where audio worked too.
Swap to it, see if it picks up in OBS.
No, it just doesn't. It's not gonna work because it needs to pick up here. But yeah, you hear me, but it's not the mic.
You can try HDMI pass through in the meantime.
No, it's not picking up anything. See?
Well, the HDMI is all the way down.
Where?
On the left there.
Well. Oh wait, what the fuck?
So that's giving you something.
So it's this.
Not necessarily.
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's this. It's like the Rodecaster is not. Wait, oh, it's working now. Okay, I fixed it.
So
all right.
We need a new guy here then.
All right. Yeah, write that down. Write that down. Okay. Oh, sorry. That might have destroyed your ears. I'm so sorry. It was the cable, yeah. Will do. All right, we fixed it. Oh, yeah, perfect. It'll be hold on. Let me fix my audio real quick. Speakers real tech.
Battaglia J. Castro,
Boom, boom,
the
boom.
7th U.S. service member killed in action.
So one of the craziest parts about this is that Fox
During
News used old footage. Does anyone have the link? Fox News used old fucking footage when showing Donald Trump at the what is it called? The ceremony? Because he was wearing a fucking hat, Fox News used different footage when covering the incident.
Your headlines, President Trump for
Oh, god damn it. It broke again. Fuck. Oh, god, I have to go pee. Dignified transfer, yeah. God damn it. Hold on one second. I'm going to pee. I'm sorry. Bro, I need a new computer. Actually need a new comp. Unbelievable how busted this shit is. It's just like...
Well, turning now.
I thought this was actually like I thought this was good, you know? I thought this was a good fucking PC. And it's not good enough at all. It's fucked up how bad it is. Sorry.
Your headlines, President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary...
Yeah, please subscribe. I need a new compy. Subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service. Just kidding. You don't have to do that. But... your voluntary subscriptions do actually help me maintain my editorial independence. I will be getting a new computer. You don't have to subscribe for that, though. I definitely need a new laptop. This is fucked up. Yes, Ayatollah Khamenei's son. Ayatollah Khamenei's son is now the new Ayatollah Khamenei. They're keeping the name, boys. They're keeping the freaking name. Anyway, let's watch this, though. The dignified transfer and what Donald Trump... So earlier you saw Donald Trump wearing a fucking hat during the dignified transfer, which is incredibly disrespectful. I don't give a shit personally. Obviously, I'm not like a fan of this kind of military fanfare, military process. I don't give a fuck at all, right? Like, I'm just being super honest with you. I don't necessarily care. You can't make me. But Trump's base does care about that shit. As a matter of fact, I would say that they care more than even libtards do, which is precisely the reason why Fox News... knowing full well how people would react if they saw how Donald Trump
a dignified transfer.
Fucked up the dignified transfer. Notice how Trump sparks outrage on social media after wearing a baseball cap during the dignified transfer of 6 U.S. soldiers killed in the Iran war. What you're supposed to do as a civilian, you have two options. You're the commander-in-chief, so you can either salute, or if you are a civilian and you have a hat, you can put your hand on your heart, or you can put the hat on your heart. That's the process. Trump just kept the fucking stupid ass hat and hit the salute. Not allowed.
To honor the final homecoming of the 6 U.S. service members killed in Kuwait. The solemn ritual returns the remains of troops killed in action. It is considered one of the most somber duties of a commander-in-chief. President Trump promising the nation that they will all be remembered as heroes.
Also, he looks like shit there too, which is kind of funny. Anyway, then before you say who fucking cares, clearly Fox News does. They care about us so much that they literally put fake footage. Because Fox News knows their audience cares.
Jeffrey O'Brien.
And then, classic Fox News fashion, they come out and they later on, engage in ass covering to go, hey, sorry, we accidentally put the wrong footage up.
Adam, thank you very much. Before we move on, we want to acknowledge a mistake made earlier on our program. During our coverage of yesterday's dignified transfer, we inadvertently aired video from an older dignified transfer instead of the ceremony that took place yesterday. We deeply regret the error and extend our respect and condolences to the service members' families. We honor the sacrifice of those 6 American heroes. They are Captain Cody Cork.
Yeah, I don't think you do, though. CENTCOM out of Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, MacDill, AFB announced 7th death 2 hours ago. Yeah, I know. Another one died.
Sergeant First Class Nicola Moore, Sergeant First Class Noah T-Chens, Sergeant Declan Cody, Major Jeffrey O'Brien, and Chief Warrant Officer 3, Robert Marzon. All.
Yeah, they play this in like a random hour where no one gives a shit. And most people just saw him and were like, oh my God, my president is honoring the war dead. Is so wonderful. Fox's new dignified transfer footage completely excludes Trump.
President Trump and the First Lady joined grieving families at Dover Air Force Base yesterday to honor 6 fallen U.S. soldiers. These heroes lost their lives in a drone strike in Kuwait, marking a somber moment in the conflict with Iran. Here with the significance of the moment, wounded special...
Oh, man. Well, was he there? I can't tell. I can't see it. It's like zoomed in. It's zoomed in super close. Was Trump even there? Pinnacle of Burger Reich bomb threats. Man on the verge of explosive shit causes panic while someone trying to give people in the men's bathroom advance warning of the diabolical do he's about to drop. He was being neighborly to the other stalls, and this is how he's repaid, shaking my head. Police did some investigating and learned the bomb threat came from a man in the bathroom stall warning others about the severity of his need to use the restroom. CBS affiliate KW, no. Y'all need to get out of here because I'm fixing to blow it up, he was heard to say. What? No shot. That's not. That's fucking fake. I don't believe that. There's no fucking shot that is real. Did I say restroom? I know, I'm sorry. I read it stupid because I am stupid. All right. Another bomb threat outside of Gracie. Police have asked for the blast zone to evacuate. NYPD evacuates buildings after new suspicious device found. Another bomb threat. It's real and it's super old, actually. Oh, what the fuck? It is real? God, America's so fucking crazy, man. All right. Here's actually a competent leader. Here's what a competent country looks like. And by that, I don't mean the United States of America. I'm talking about China. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on the Iran war.
Phoenix TV. The U.S. and Israel have again launched military strikes on Iran, and the conflict is spreading to the entire Middle East region. What is China's view on the Iran situation, and what solution does China propose?
This is an issue that everyone is concerned about. It is also the focal point in the current international situation. China's attitude is objective and impartial. We have stated our principled position on multiple occasions, which can be summarized into one key message, that is, to bring about ceasefire and end hostilities. Ancient Chinese wisdom warns that weapons are ominous tools and should not be used without discretion. Seeing the Middle East engulfed in flames, I want to say that this is a war that should not have happened. It is a war that does no one any good. The history of the Middle East tells the world time and again that force provides no solution. An armed conflict will only increase hatred and breed new crises.
China can say this all day, every day, but let's be real, okay? When push comes to shove, sometimes you got to take military action, okay? And I don't mean like on the American side. I mean like the Iranians are showing that reality. Because America is hell-bent on death and destruction around the globe. They're not going to fucking stop. Like, it is what it is. You have to provide a counterbalance. Bro, you look 2 years younger today? Really? Is it because I just changed my glasses?
Once again, China calls for an immediate stop to military operations to avoid the spiraling escalation of the situation and prevent the conflict from spilling over and spreading. China is of the view that to find the right and proper solution to the issues relating to Iran and the Middle East, the following fundamental principles must be observed. First, respecting state sovereignty. Sovereignty is the cornerstone of the current international order. We believe that the sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of Iran and all countries in the Gulf region should be respected and must not be violated.
Why is China saying impartial actor, etc., when they're supposed to be Iran's ally? Because they're pussies.
Second, rejecting the abuse of force. Might does not make right. The law of the jungle must not return and rule the world. Willful use of force does not prove one's strength. Civilians.
You said law except Taiwan? The fuck do you mean? They don't do shit to Taiwan either. What are you talking about? They're always trade maxing. That's it. They have said more than AOC liberal. That's so funny.
Innocent and should not be victimized. Third, non-interference in internal affairs. The people in the Middle East are the true master of the region. Middle Eastern affairs should be determined by regional countries independently. Plotting color revolution or seeking regime change will find no popular support. Fourth, promoting political settlement of hotspot issues. China always believes that peace is the most precious. All sides should return to the negotiating table as quickly as possible, resolve differences through equal dialogue, and make efforts for realizing common security. Fifth, major countries should play a constructive role and use their strength in goodwill.
Dude, this is the funniest chatter. Can you turn this AI? Can you turn off this AI slop narration? No. First of all, it's not even AI. It's a real human. Secondly, even if it was AI, I don't speak Chinese. The fuck? And neither does anybody else here. Like you hit the double. You hit the double where you, one, falsely claimed something was AI, and then two, got mad at like one of the only instances where like AI is kind of valid. You know what I mean?
Another ancient Chinese adage reads, when benevolence and justice are not practiced, the position of strength shifts. Major countries should act in the spirit of justice and righteousness and contribute more positive energy to peace and development of the Middle East. As a sincere friend and strategic partner, China stands ready to work with Middle Eastern countries to implement the Global Security Initiative and restore order to the Middle East.
The reason why China is saying they're an impartial actor is because they also obviously fucking play a major trade role with Saudi Arabia and all the Gulf countries that are getting bombed right now. Even though it's the American bases that are getting bombed, they can't just be like, we love Iran. We're with you, Iran, all the way. Because they're trade maxers. That's why they're not, leaning into it aggressively. I'm sure they're probably still helping Iran, but they're not. Like they're obviously offering political cover to Iran, which is necessary, and it's totally valid. I will say that 100%. Iran, in this circumstance, is the harmed party. Israel and America are the party doing the wrong, doing the illegal act of waging war against a country for no reason, a decapitation strike on the leadership. All of that stuff is completely illegal, and it doesn't really matter that the rest of the world disagrees with it. Obviously, the rest of the world doesn't mean anything. When America wants to do something, they do it. And it turns out increasingly other regional powers also have that level of influence and also that level of like rule breaking as well. We saw that with Russia and Ukraine. And no one can really stop it. But China still plays this role of diplomacy and stability in the global stage because they think like they will be the true safeguard of the United Nations in the future. I think that's silly, but I'm sure they know better than I do.
Restore tranquility to the people and restore peace to the world. Thank you.
Bizdeki İran nefreti nereden geliyor? Abi, the Turkish person in the chat asked me, why do we hate Iran? Like in Turkey, they're Shia, they're a dominant power, they're a regional power. Turkey is a regional power, and that's the reason. It's literally as simple as that. There is a very real, dare I say, idiotic Sunni fear that exists in many countries. Countries that have like a significant Shia population, especially, but countries that don't even have a significant Shia population, where there's this idea that, you know, Iran wants to make the entire region Shia run with like Ayatollah, like under the guidance of the Ayatollah. This is the major difference in how Shia countries are run versus Sunni countries are run, and that is like a big point of contention between a lot of the Sunni majority and Sunni run countries. I think it's silly overall. I think it's ridiculous. Like at most, you can have like a competition, I guess, for power in places like Iraq, but outside of that, like, and Bahrain, outside of that, though, like, I don't think the Shias are gonna run Saudi Arabia anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous on both sides. But as far as like, that's one of the reasons. The real reason is because these countries want to be great powers. Saudi Arabia is the economic engine of the Gulf. It's the most powerful nation in the Gulf. It's same with Turkey. Turkey is a major force in the region as well, and so is Israel. So is Iran. So these guys are constantly at odds with one another, even if they are all under the umbrella, with the exception of Iran, even if they're all under the umbrella of America and Western powers, they have their own regional ambitions, and that's why they're constantly at odds with one another.
News agency. The Liechtenstein authorities have been claiming that Taiwan is a sovereign, independent country. And
Saudi Arabia has no defense and borders Israel. They're delusional. Zero leverage if Iran falls. No, they know that. They know that. That's why I don't believe the Wall Street Journal reporting that like Saudi Arabia was actively petitioning to destabilize Iran. I don't think they want to destabilize Iran. I think they like that Iran was defanged and the axis of resistance was destroyed, especially in countries where Saudi Arabia wants to also, you know, maintain Sunni control or have some level of influence, right? However, Saudi Arabia did not. I don't believe that Saudi Arabia wanted this. I would go so far as to say that Saudi Arabia wanted the opposite of this. Not only because it would obviously provoke a response from Iran and Saudi Arabia would get bombed in the process, but also the reason why they didn't want it is because, yeah, they have no leverage against Israel. Did you listen to Saudi Prince's interview? He shit on Iran? No, that stuff doesn't matter. That's just posture. No, Saudi Arabia wants a weak Iran. Saudi Arabia hates Iran. This is true. But Saudi Arabia doesn't want no Iran, or certainly not like a collapsed Iran, because Saudi Arabia also benefits from Iran's existence. As long as it exists, Israel can't go too far. Okay? Now, there's also another side of the story. And the other side of the story is the United Arab Emirates. So the United Arab Emirates, in an effort to gain more leverage in the Gulf, more influence in the region, totally backs Israel to the hilt. Okay? UAE decided in the last decade that they're just going to be Israel. They're going to be Israel, but Arab. They're going to be Israel, but Muslim. They're Muslim Israel, if you can even call them that. And basically, the UAE decided we're just Israel. We're going to very openly defend Israel's interests. We're going to very openly engage in influence peddling, for Israel. And we're going to be the most spiritually Israeli. We're going to build the most spiritually Israeli city of all time, Dubai. Saudi Arabia doesn't like that either. Okay? Saudi Arabia also doesn't like that. That's why there's been a separation between there's been a split between the Saudis and the Emirates, the United Emirates. So that's another fear for Saudi Arabia as well. Like the UAE coming to the forefront and just like totally backing Israel all day, every day. Saudi Arabia obviously has the Abraham Accords. Like all these Gulf countries are still down to play ball with Israel, but they also want to keep Israel at arm's distance for domestic concern, issues that relate to domestic pressures, but also because they are still very much fearful that Israel can do to them what it did to Doha, or what it does to Lebanon, what it does all around the region. It's like being in the neighborhood with a fucking mutated pit bull that has no leash whatsoever any longer, and the pit bull has rabies. UAE has decided that they will also become a pit bull themselves. Everyone else, on the other hand, is like, I don't want the fucking rabies, dude. They're going to bite me too. So they're trying to create regional pressure, or they're trying to maintain regional pressure.
That the Taiwan question is not China's internal affairs. The Taiwan question and the cross-strait situation have become more heated, and the PLA's drills are getting closer to the island. What do you make of the risk of conflict breaking out in the region? And does China have a timetable and roadmap for reunification?
Taiwan has been an integral part of China since ancient times. It never was, is not, and never will be a country. Its return to China is a victorious outcome of the Chinese people's war of resistance against Japanese aggression and the Second World War. Its status has been definitively fixed by a series of international legal instruments, including the Cairo Declaration, the Potsdam Proclamation, Japan's Instrument of Surrender, and the Resolution 2758 of the UN General Assembly.
It's so funny. Dude, I'm sorry, there's nothing funnier to me than like Iran and China and Russia and all of these other like quote unquote foreign adversaries constantly leaning into legalese. And I'm not saying that as like, oh, these guys don't actually operate within the confines at all. I'm not doing that like Western chauvinistic bullshit. They do actually try to maintain some semblance of rule-based order. Obviously, they violate it. I mean, specifically, Russia has violated it by invading Ukraine. But even within that violation, they try to like operate within the confines, even though there are obviously war crimes that take place like Bucha and shit. Like, but that's the reason why there's a difference between the way that like Russia has waged war in Ukraine, or even like population transfers, things like that, right? Russia has done a lot of war crimes. Russia has violated a lot of like rules of war. But there's still a very significant difference between the way that Russia is waging war in Ukraine, still unjustifiable, still bloody, still unacceptable, versus what Israel has done in Gaza. And that's the point that I'm making, which is these guys literally still think that like international law matters at all. They are operating as though we are not in a totally new world that is basically the same as the old world, but they've also dropped any fucking like any interest or investment in abiding by the international rule-based order, right? Wow, nice seeing you see their hypocrisy. Wait, what do you mean? Who is their hypocrisy? If you're an American, you have no leg to stand on to call out any of these fucking countries. Let's be real. When has America abided by international rules? Like, what are you talking about? We wrote the rules and we violate those rules over and over again. It's ridiculous. I'm saying it's so fucking stupid that these guys will still be like, excuse me. Here are the many different reasons why, according to international law and previous analysis, that, Taiwan actually is a part of China. They don't care. They don't give a shit at all. Like, no one cares about the paperwork, man. Like, Americans don't care about the paperwork. The UN is a toothless institution. I'm sorry. There is no real paperwork. Now, do I prefer this? I do. I prefer the, even if it's just purely symbolic, I prefer that they're still trying to do this thing where they're like, well, international law dictates that Taiwan is a part of China. Most of the major powers in the world understand that, Taiwan is a part of China, including the United States of America, all this stuff. But like, I hope they're well aware that no one else on the other side gives a shit, right? Like, I'll say this sincerely. While there isn't any serious appetite in Taiwan as it stands for unification, right? They want status quo. They want status quo. That's what they want. Overwhelmingly, they are in favor of status quo. But let's say in a hypothetical scenario where Taiwan decided that they wanted to unify with China democratically, you think America would let Taiwan go? I'm asking sincerely. If every single Taiwanese was like, oh, we're Chinese, I want to be a part of China, I already work in fucking China, my family works in China, my family lives in mainland China, I want to be a part of China, you think the United States of America would allow that to fucking happen? Fuck no. Don't be fucking delusional, man. It's just not. That would never happen in a million fucking years, because America's goals in Taiwan is not the liberation of the Taiwanese people. This is the same delusional nonsense that people constantly fucking present to me. Okay? It's delusional. It's completely fucking delusional. Taiwan is a military base 100 miles off the coastline of mainland China. That's all it's worth. And also they make chips. But even before the chips, Taiwan was a military base, a thorn in China's side. Okay? I don't know why there are still people who have this like idiotic notion that America cares about human rights anywhere. Like, what the fuck? How many countries do we have to fucking bomb for Americans to finally come to that conclusion that, like, no, we don't give a fuck about people in Taiwan. We don't give a fuck about the people in Iran. We don't care. We've never cared. Some of you are delusional enough to believe it. But with the new vulgar imperialism meta that Donald Trump has demonstrated, people are basically coming to that conclusion regardless. Yeah, I don't give a fuck who we kill. Who gives a shit, right? That's basically the way that a lot of Americans, like a lot of hogs, are approaching the subject matter. So you got to figure out real quick which side you're on. Are you on I'm going to delude myself into thinking that there's some sort of like liberation at the end of this, at the end of American interference in the affairs of other countries? Or are you actually going to wake up to that reality and say, I oppose American imperialism. I oppose Western imperialism. The problem with this take is that there's an implied notion of international law ever having existed or being normative. The truth is the norm has been Holocaust after Holocaust after Holocaust from the moment the U.S. attained hegemony in 1945. The UN has been since a genesis tool to wash the same imperialist violence of Britain after colonial power slipped. I don't disagree with you. That's why I said America sets the standard after World War II and has been utilizing the UN as a tool, utilizing international law as a tool to do their bidding. And whitewashing their obvious savagery while simultaneously really bringing up the casus belli to engage in interference overseas by pointing to international law when our adversaries are doing it, or nations in the periphery are doing it. Yes, that is the truth, and it's something that I acknowledge all the time. However, my assessment is I'd rather have an international governing body that doesn't just believe in the theory of conflict avoidance, but actually does have some power to stop conflict from taking place. That's the whole point of fucking multipolarity, right? That's what's supposed to happen. It hasn't happened. It didn't even happen in the Cold War, but at least it was like, I would say, less chaotic, and maybe it gave countries in the global South more room to breathe and have successful liberation movements, because there was another pole that armed them when they were doing anti-colonial, anti-imperialist actions. Many of these countries would be worse off if the USSR had not existed. Cuba is a great example of a country that would absolutely look like Haiti right now. Cuba would be worse off if the USSR didn't exist. Look no further than two different countries that have, you know, different modes of development, but you know, one is much more diverse than the other. But look at India and China. Okay, look at Indian development versus Chinese development. The major, albeit this is reductive analysis, but there's a major difference between Chinese development and Indian development. Look at where India is at now. Look at where China's at now. How do you think that happened? Why do you think that happened? It was Malcolm X who said something really interesting, where he was like, I mean, this is far before this development ever even took place, but Malcolm X was asked about Nehru versus Mao. Okay, here, I'm going to read this to you. And I don't want anybody to get offended or get mad at me for this is Malcolm X's own opinion, not mine. Okay, but I think it's it helps you identify something here. Malcolm X, I think that Nehru probably was a good man, although I didn't go for it. I don't go for anybody who's passive. I don't go for anybody who advocates pacifism or peaceful suffering in any form whatsoever. I don't go for it. What about Jesus Christ? Malcolm X does not even respond to that question. Continues, I go for Mao Zedong because I go for Mao much more than Nehru because I think that Nehru brought his country up in a beggar's role. Their roles, the role of India and its reliance upon the West during the years since it got its supposed independence, has it today just as helpless and dependent as it was when it first got its independence. Whereas in China, the Chinese fought for their independence. They became militant right from the outstart. And today, even though they aren't loved, they are respected. Though the West doesn't love them, the West respects them. Now, the West doesn't respect India, but it loves India. I see your distinction. Can you see my distinction? I do indeed. Malcolm X says, I admire the stand of China and the stand of Mao Zedong, but I can't admire with respect the stand of Nehru in India. I just can't do it. Hold up, y'all are unironically communist? Applies here. Bro, that's the same one. Yeah, the U.S. won't give India the same kind of economic advantages it gave China, which allowed that country to emerge as a major competitor, Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau said. This is also bullshit. They make it seem like America made China. Like, that's also fucking Western chauvinism of a different order. But do you see... I mean, India is far more diverse, obviously, and there have been other setbacks. India's starting point is different. The caste structure, like there's a lot of cultural forces and reactionary forces at play. Low key, maybe in spite of the excesses, the Cultural Revolution might have actually played a major role in purging some of the rightist elements within China. Who knows, right? I can't make that assessment. I don't know. I can just look at the results, right? I can only look at the results. But it does feel to me like a communist India would probably fare better than what India looks like now. Now, the reason why I say that is because there is a communist India. It's called Kerala, right? And they are literally the best region in India. They are doing better than everybody else. That's gotta mean something, right? Like, because India, in spite of the fact that it's, you know, it has like this Western liberal democracy that is that keeps voting for this fucking fascist Modi, India does have robust and very large communist movements, not just in Kerala either. But my point is, especially for developing nations, like, highly recommend communism. Can't recommend it enough. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I can't recommend it for Americans because we just don't have that base. Like, we don't have material conditions that resemble places where successful communist movements have launched. Americans are too fat and too comfortable in the imperial core to ever entertain such things. But if you're India, I mean, it's right there, man. It's right there for the seizing.
Any attempt to create two Chinas or one China, one Taiwan is doomed to fail. DPP authorities' obstinate pursuit of their separatist agenda is the root cause. And
a communist India wouldn't be worth the Great Famine and Cultural Revolution and not having democracy? Brother, what do you mean? We're talking about India. This is like during the time frame where communism was being developed, India was already going through tremendous famine anyway. India also still experiences famine from time to time. What are we fucking talking about? What the fuck? That's crazy to say. India from the beginning has been very socialist. Leaders would compete on who's more socialist. We had a very radical land redistribution reform. No, I know. I'm saying, that's why I was saying, like, it should have went all the way. There weren't famines before communism. Buddy, go to history class. India, China, and Russia never experienced famine historically before communism. That's funny. I know you're being sarcastic.
Undermining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. It has been proven time.
The craziest part about it is that, like, famine under imperialism unironically was made worse by colonial powers, as opposed to, like, famine under communism you can still attribute to, like, state mismanagement, okay, where they fuck it up big time. And, you know, a lot of people die as a consequence of, like, this great collectivization initiative. And it's horrifying, but it's still different than, like, direct famine as a consequence of British rule, right? In Ireland. Like, that's, or the Bengal famine, right? Like, there are instances where, like, famine is directly brought about by a colonial entity that is just destroying the population because they want the fucking supply for themselves.
Again, that the more the international community stands against Taiwan independence and upholds the One China principle, the more assured peace and stability will be across the Taiwan Strait. The Taiwan question is China's internal affair. It is at the core of China's core interests, a red line that must not be crossed or trampled on. Taiwan was recovered by China over 80 years ago, and we will never allow any individual or force to separate it from China again. The One China principle has overwhelming support in the international community. More and more countries are standing with China, not only reaffirming their commitment to the One China principle and recognizing Taiwan as part of China, but also taking a clear stand against all activities for Taiwan independence and supporting the cause of China's reunification. This is irrefutable proof that opposing Taiwan independence and promoting China's reunification is the trend of the times and meets the expectation of the international community. Resolving the Taiwan question and realizing the complete reunification of our motherland is a historic process that cannot be stopped. Those who support it are on the right side of history, and those who defy it shall perish.
Thank you, NBC. Respected Minister Wang Yi, you have spoken of China-U.S. ties as most consequential relationship over time, with strategic choices that will shape world history. So, given all the happenings, would China accept the J2 format cited by some, including President Trump himself, as a framework for China and the U.S. to hold the...
What? But I take Haas, the argument you're making is colonialism is bad because of intentional famine versus communism, where it's unintentional famine. You're ignoring the fact that famines were due to historical failure to keep up with the agricultural methods of the famines communist states went through, were the last they ever had as they rapidly... This is my favorite fucking take of a chatter who literally just summarizes literally what I just said, but slaps bad take in front of it. You just straight up said what I just said. Yes, I said it's mismanagement. It's not being able to keep up with like agricultural technology, or agricultural technology is not advanced enough for collectivization. There's a reason why there's no more fucking famine in China. Yes. I don't even understand what why did you just repeat the same point?
Joint responsibility in addressing global challenges. If not, What alternative framework?
What are you
would
eating?
propose?
Kasama. It's a Pinoy Gang Michelin star rated breakfast place. And it's treats that March got me, and it's so bomb. It's the best pastries I've ever had in my life. I swear to God.
Will prevent confrontation with the United States and assure the world that China's rise is not aimed at overturning the existing international system.
There is no doubt that China and the US have a significant impact on the world, but we should not forget there are more than 190 countries on our planet. World history has always been written by many countries together, and the future of humanity will be forged through the collective efforts of all nations. Diversity is the inherent nature of human society. And multipolarity is what the international landscape should look like. Looking back in history, great power rivalry and bloc confrontation have invariably inflicted disaster and pain on humanity. Therefore, China will never take the beaten path of seeking hegemony as its strength grows, nor do we subscribe to the logic that the world can be run by major countries. China has inscribed in its constitution that it follows an independent foreign policy and is committed to pursuing a path of peaceful development. Chinese leaders have often declared to the world that no matter how the international situation evolves and how strong China becomes, it will never seek hegemony or expansion.
Boo.
As for how the international...
I don't know. People don't believe that when they say this, but they just don't do it. They don't do it when they should. They don't do it when they could. I've said this over and over again. Like, even from their own self-preservation, there are so many instances where they could just engage in like militancy, engage in actions that offer them a much better position in the global stage. And they just don't do it. They just sit there and they expect fucking Western nations to come to that conclusion on their own that like China actually has no, imperialist ambitions. China doesn't want to destabilize the world. China wants stability. China wants trade maxing. And Westerners never will believe them.
The national landscape should evolve. China's proposal is to build an equal and orderly multipolar...
I mean, they're a massive trade partner to Israel still. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
...world. Equal means every nation, regardless of size or strength, is an equal member of the international community and can find its place and play its role in a multipolar world. Orderly means all countries should uphold the widely recognized international rules, namely the purposes and principles of the UN Charter and the basic norms of international relations. Building an equal and orderly multipolar world should be the common responsibility of all countries. With more resources and capabilities, major countries should be more generous, shoulder more responsibilities, and set an example of observing rules, honoring commitments, and upholding international law. China will continue to play a constructive role in reforming global governance and work with all countries toward a multipolar world. Thank you.
Now, we've just got some breaking news that's just come into us. Iran has named the new supreme leader. It will be Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of the slain supreme leader who was killed last Saturday in a...
That's right. The Assembly of Experts done did it again, boys. They brought in another Ayatollah Khamenei.
Israeli-US strike on the capital.
Oil futures just opened up. Shit hit $111. GG. Oh, great, dude. That's great. That's fantastic. I mean, what do you say to that? Winning. So much winning. We're going to win so much. We're going to win so much. You're going to say, please, Mr. President, no more winning. And I'll tell you, we're going to keep winning.
Tehran. He was killed in his compound, and his son has now been named as the new supreme leader by the Council of Clerics in charge of selecting the new supreme leader. This will be the Islamic Republic's third supreme leader since it came to power in 1979. 56-year-old Mujtaba Khamenei is known to be close to the Revolutionary Guard, who were apparently pushing for him to be the front runner. He is a mid-level cleric who studied...
Now I feel like they want the names to sound so similar to confuse the West, bro. Because the first guy is Khomeini, then the second guy is Khamenei, and then now the third guy also Khamenei. It's like, bro, you couldn't throw a different name in the pile? What are we doing? Nah, we just got to stick with the naming convention. It's too difficult. We don't want to etch out the the names in the directory. It's going to fuck this. It's going to fuck the whole thing up. Brother, you think hamburger cunts see a difference between Persian names? I mean, Khomeini and Khamenei are pretty fucking similar, you know?
In seminaries in Qom, and for the past at least 20 years, his name has been...
Wait, the third? Like they killed two already? No. Khomeini is the first Ayatollah. At the time, Ali Khamenei is the president. Then when Khomeini passes, Ali Khamenei is selected by the council, just like this selection process took place now amongst clerics, and he is selected as the supreme leader. That's how he becomes Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Mojtaba is his son. The guy that we just killed on the first day, Ali Khamenei, has well, he has multiple kids, I think, but this is one of his kids, Mojtaba Khamenei. Mojtaba Khamenei is his son. He's also a cleric, a mid-level cleric, which, you know, kind of disrespectful. Why are you saying Khomeini, lol? Wait, what? Because the first, I'm explaining to a chatter.
Floated as the potential replacement to his father, but there was also much discussion and controversy around that because this Islamic Republic is not a hierarchical system, so there was some reservation about Mojtaba Khamenei taking over from his father, but he has now been named as the supreme leader. And in the last few days, when he was believed to be the front runner, the Israeli defense minister
I'm gonna keep it a $150. This is nepotism.
The supreme leaders, all those.
That's nepotism, straight up. I'll say it. I'll say it, bro. They gave him for the name recognition pick. That's what they
named
did.
As a potential front runner, or anyone who was named as the supreme leader, would be fair game and would be targeted. And we will get much more reaction.
This is a real LeBron James Bronny situation. You know, Bronny Lakers trade. I'm calling flag on the play. We got to get the commissioner involved. Okay. Nobody's going to respect him. Everyone's going to say he's a Nepo baby.
To the naming of Mojtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader. Now, in a moment, we'll get reaction from Washington with our James Matthews. But first, let's go to our Cordelia Lynch in Tel Aviv. And Cordelia, I'll get to my interview with the Qatari Prime Minister.
These two are low-key my favorite anchors at Sky News, which isn't saying much, but they are like, at least they like have a tendency at times to recognize the humanity of those who were destroying the lives of.
Minister in a moment, but we've also now heard that the new supreme leader has been named the son of the slain supreme leader. And of course, Israel has
a powerful mid-ranking cleric. Damn, bro, they keep calling him mid. Mojtaba Khamenei, 56, has long opposed reformist groups advocating engagement with the West. His close ties to senior clerics and the IRGC, which dominates Iran's security forces and the economy, give him leverage across the state's political and coercive security institutions. He amassed influence under his father as a key figure within the security apparatus and the vast business empire it controls, operating for years as Ali Khamenei's gatekeeper and, in practice, a mini supreme leader, analysts say. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned Mojtaba in 2019, saying he represented the supreme leader in an official capacity despite never holding elected or formal government office. A Gulf source familiar with the regional government said, thinking of Mojtaba's appointment, this tells Trump and Washington that Iran will not back down. They will fight on until the finish. Salem of the Middle East Institute likened Iran's trajectory to Iraq under Saddam Hussein after 1991 or Syria under Bashar al-Assad after 2012. Governments that survived years of war and isolation, but steadily lost control. They're doubling down on the hardline, Salem said. Internally, it's terrible and deeply destabilizing. Okay, maybe it's not so bad then, because I felt like when these guys say that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was a hardliner, I don't think he was. I think there are hardline in terms of what? Because they wanted to fucking negotiate with the West. Khamenei wanted to negotiate with the West. I don't think that's a controversial take at all, especially because they did allow the JCPOA to go through. They followed through on the JCPOA. They were nowhere near as aggressive as they're presented in the West. Now, his son might be different. I don't know. But this guy said, being Islam is radical. Being Islam. The IRGC pledge allegiance. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says they are ready to follow new Supreme Leader Mojtaba. A middle finger to Israel from the regime, but like his father, it will take years for him to consolidate power. For now, expect the informal council to continue running things. The president, parliamentary speaker, judiciary chief, and reps from the IRGC and regular military. Yeah, most likely. Well, we just killed his family, so maybe it might be different. I don't think these guys give a shit, bro. I think that the real pressure is going to come from within, because the IRGC has been waiting for this moment in some respects, and they cleaned up all the older ranks. For the longest time, I kept repeating over and over again, if you recall, that Ayatollah was the most restrained figure that we would deal with in the West, okay? Restrained to a fault. Strategic restraint was the name of the game. I think it caused Western forces to feel far more powerful. It made them think that Iran had no capabilities of withstanding American bombing campaigns. It created a sense of weakness to a fault. It is precisely the reason why the multiple decades long initiative of building a serious axis of resistance fell apart, because one of the major red lines in said axis of resistance, especially in the last decade, was that if Israel actually put boots on the ground in Gaza, that they would pummel Israel. Now look at the amount of weapons they have at their disposal right now. If Syria still existed, as it did post-October 7, and Hezbollah had not been decapitated and diminished, and the Houthis are just still the Houthis, obviously, that doesn't really change that much, and the IRGC still had its Quds forces in both Syria and also in Iraq, and they mobilized against Israel very quickly after October 7 for Israel's violation of said red lines, you'd be looking at a very different calculation in the region, which is what I think Yahya Sinwar wanted to do, right? Like that's not a lot of ifs. That was literally that's not a lot of ifs at all. That was the whole ball game. And what I'm trying to say is Iran's restraint at that time over and over again, when Israel kept violating more red lines and kept slowly but surely, alongside the United States of America, took out Iran's axis of resistance in the region piece by piece, and then Syria fell entirely. It was over. From that point on, Iran was much more diminished in its reaction or its retaliation to Israel. I don't know if you would have seen a different calculation or you would have seen a quicker U.S. intervention. I mean, think about the U.S. intervention that's taking place right now, though. Think about the U.S. intervention that's taking place right now. Now imagine a much a much more powerful axis of resistance that wasn't destroyed over the course of the last 2.5 years, very successfully, mind you. I don't think if the United States of America right now can't withstand and can't successfully defend its own assets in the region, can't defend its most powerful ally, the only country that they care about, Israel, successfully. Israel's defenses have been deteriorating. Israel cannot even do early enough warnings for its citizens right now. I don't think, like, if they waited a couple months and then they were like, all right, you've gone too far, and they came in and reacted, we'd be looking at a very different calculation, which I think was that was what Yahya Sinwar thought would happen. Wouldn't that make Iran look like the aggressor? Brother, it doesn't matter. Oh, guys, please stop. You place far too much emphasis on how we feel about Iran or the IRGC or Hamas or Israel or Palestine or Palestinians. We are not a part of the calculation. America doesn't operate in a democratic manner. How is this confusing for you? When it comes to foreign policy, there is no fucking democracy. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What are you talking about? Look around. Do you think there's tremendous appetite to blow up Iran right now? Fuck no. Has it stopped America one bit? No, it hasn't. If you can recognize that here, and I think you have the capacity to recognize it, I think those guys know it over there too. The only part of this calculation that may be different is, like, maybe the U.S. and Israel would have invaded if Iran had reacted more strongly to 10-7, probably. But once again, my point is, a much weaker Iran with no significant network of resistance is still capable of doing this much damage. Now imagine how much damage Iran could do if it still had the axis of resistance. My point is, Ali Khamenei was incredibly restrained, and that is the reason why Iran is currently getting bombed. Because Iran getting bombed is an inevitability with Israel being in the region. And if it's an inevitability, you got to strike while you have, well, the iron is hot. You got to strike while your opportunity is like when you have more leverage. You got to strike when you have more assets. You didn't do that, and then they destroyed your capabilities of responding and reacting. You still have tremendous capability, tremendous force projection. But my point simply is, like, I think the calculation would be very different because America is basically operating not like full force, but pretty close to full force right now. They're slowly but surely going up the escalation ladder as they would, and boots on the ground is not going to be as successful for the American side as the Americans think it will be. Actually, I suspect that plenty of generals are actually opposed to that as well. That's part of the reason why they haven't done so. Anyway, but the reason why I brought all this up is not so I can get clipped to be like, see, Hassan is like so pro-Iran. He's saying Iran should have fucking retaliated, whatever. The reason why I brought that up is because there was one guy who was against that. There were forces within Iranian military that were for it, certainly. The IRGC being the hardliners, the real hardliners. The ones that were much more pragmatic and understood what was necessary. But the Ayatollah was not one of those guys. He was the final setback. He had the final say. He was the one who kept repeatedly saying, no, we can negotiate. We can negotiate. Obviously, like the civilian governance side, the president, foreign minister, those guys are all moderates. They're always moderates. That's more so to throw a bone to the public, to be like, see, we're listening to your demands. We can say this in hindsight, but Iran's actions indicate that they cared about their people, which undermines their nonsense regime take we hear from everyone, including progressives in the West. Diplomacy meant less of their own people died. Otherwise, the logic of Sinwar makes sense. There's no negotiating with Neanderthals. What are you talking about? No, that's my argument. My argument is literally that, like, this is an inevitability. So you have to, my argument is, if it's an inevitability that your people are going to get slaughtered by American forces, as we're seeing it happen right now, then you have to strike while you have more leverage. If you don't actually take the opportunity to strike when you have more leverage, clearly diplomacy doesn't fucking save lives at the end of the day. They're not always moderates. Ahmadinejad and Raisi weren't moderates. Sure. You call the regime all the time too. Yeah, but I call the American government a regime as well. I don't think regime has the negative connotation that that people present it as. Like, it's just, I think it's, you know, it is what it is. I also say the Iranian government all the time. I use it interchangeably. Weren't they still building up their military capability in the proxies? Iran wasn't sitting idle. Wait, building up their military capabilities? Brother, what are you talking about? They got like 50,000 drones. They've already built it. What, you think in the last 2.5 years they really escalated their manufacturing capabilities? That's crazy. You just added 2.5 additional years into the stockpile, but you didn't add like a tremendous amount, I don't think. They've been building their military capabilities. No, but their gamble was that this wouldn't happen. We agreed they were too moderate, but had struck it first. I feel like your agitprop would have been that they're partially responsible for the deaths of their own people. Just keeping it a buck. What? I mean, it would have made my life much more difficult in the West to help people understand like where this other side was coming from. But I still would have done it regardless. Even if I was successful or not, it doesn't matter. Because what matters at the end of the day is results. Western attitudes on this issue are unfortunately for the time being utterly inconsequential. Do you understand? Like, that's why whenever post-October 7, people were like, why won't Hamas just release the fucking hostage? I was like, you're stupid. You're a stupid person. Like, it would make it much easier to defend Hamas. It's like, what are you talking about? What is this? My sister-in-law's an aeromedical evac flight nurse. They just had 200 nurses get deployment orders. She said, this is the most AE deployed since before 2010. Indicate boost on the ground is guaranteed. Fuh. I don't know.
Damn, this guy's good.